final in the California Collegiate Hockey League Championship playoffs. As tonight, the number 12 team in the NCHA ice hockey at UCSB Gauchos takes on the number 9 team in the nation in the California Lutheran University Knights. Hello once again, friends. My name is Eric Evelhawk. I'm joined by Kyle Nicholas ringside. And Kyle, for the 5th time this season, these two teams get together. And if this is anything like the previous 4, we are in for a treat in our second playoff semifinal.
Well, the first 2 games of this tournament so far have been playoff hockey personified. They've been battles, they've been back and forth hockey, they've been teams performing at the peak of their capability, and it has produced some of the craziest and most entertaining hockey I have seen in a long time. I expect this rivalry in particular, considering the way that the results have gone recently between the two teams, to be no different. These two teams, at least in terms of the Gauchos, have met more than any other team. This is, like you mentioned, the 5th time that the Gauchos will have met the California Lutheran Knights. It almost feels like we've kind of come full circle as well. The first broadcast we did this season was a game between the Gauchos and the Knights, and since then, the Gauchos have come out on top in each of the last 3 performances. So really looking forward to this one. We've got 2 squads, both at full strength in terms of very few people missing from their rosters. I expect an excellent showdown here this evening.
Ice hockey at UCSB coming in 5-5-1 overall in the season. CLU, the top seed overall, finishing first in the CCHL with a 9-4 record in league, 11-7 overall. And Kyle, the story when these two teams have met the last 3 times has been goaltending. And for UCSB, that's been the play of Amado Hernandez. Hernandez, the goalie of record in all 11 Gaucho games, comes in with an 82.9 save percentage and a goals against average of .568. He, however, has been the difference maker against CLU this season.
Well, we talked about it the last series that the Gauchos played against the Knight in those 2 games. Amado Hernandez circles the dates on the calendar when he sees Cal Lutheran coming up. For some reason, certain players just love facing certain opponents, and at least through this season, that opponent for Amado Hernandez has been Cal Lutheran. He has been lights out spectacular in every single one of the meetings between the two, even in the meeting that the Gauchos fell short in, the first meeting of the season, which came, mere days after tryouts even happened. The Gauchos have changed a lot in front of him, but Hernandez has been just rock solid and been an absolute puzzle for the Knights to try to figure out all season long.
And he will present a challenge to a CLU team led by Blake Stevens offensively. Stevens with 15 goals and 20 assists, averages over 2 points per game. However, important injury for California Lutheran. Brendan Ward not available. His 32 points on the bench with a shoulder injury suffered in the last game of the regular season against Chapman. There's still plenty of other offensive depth for the Knights. Elliot Cutbill is in the lineup. He's scored 15 goals and dished 16 assists this season. The Knights also have 2 additional players with more than 20 points on the season in Captain Joey Janowski and forward Tyler Tardif. They are a formidable offensive foe for UCSB tonight.
Absolutely, and we've talked all season long about the depth that teams have had in scoring. Most of the offense for at least the last series went through 2 players, went through Andrew Dalen and went through Blake Stevens. Tyler Tardif almost completely taken out of the game, but nonetheless, you cannot focus on just shutting these 2 players down. The Knights have the lines, they have the numerical power, and they have the depth in terms of talent and scoring ability to beat you even if you take their superstars out of the game.
And when you look at this Gaucho offense, UCSB with 6 players, more than 10-plus points, Christian Ockpish, as well as Tyler Barone, the 2 biggest goal-scoring threats. Barone with one of the prettiest goals all season we've seen from UCSB that proved to be the game-winning goal in the quarterfinal against UC San Diego.
And what an individual effort that was. Barone was absolutely flying yesterday. He clearly had some sort of like a 5-hour energy drink or some sort of top up on caffeine or something of the like, because his legs were moving 1,000,000 miles an hour yesterday. And boy, that goal where he just cut across the front of Simonson and laid a beautiful little backhand over the pad and into the side of the net, held up as the game winner. It was a hard-fought game. It was a close game, but Barone, we both named him, I believe, at least in our 3 stars last night. Deservingly so, playing one of the best games we've seen him play all season long.
This is a CLU team at the height of its strength. UCSB has not faced California Lutheran with near its entire roster since the beginning of the season, when the Knights took a 5-3 decision. However, the Gauchos have a near full roster as well. The only players who won't be playing tonight are defenseman James Blount, who's out with a knee injury, and forward Nick Ricci, who's sidelined with a shoulder injury. Defenseman Pontus Johnson, who hurt his ankle in the game against UC San Diego, is going to try and give it a go. The winner of this contest will take on Chapman University tomorrow for the California Cup, awarded to the champions of the California Collegiate Hockey League and an automatic berth in the National Collegiate Hockey Association National Tournament in Ohio. It's number 12 ice hockey at UCSB versus number 9 California Lutheran University, and it's coming up next on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Brought to you by the South Coast Inn, where there's only one goal: to make sure every guest has a fantastic trip. Whether staying for business or pleasure, enjoy a spacious, cool room with the best amenities. South Coast Inn at 5620 Calle Real in Goleta. Call 805-967-3200 for more information. The South Coast Inn is the 2015-16 broadcast sponsor of ice hockey at UCSB. We take a look at the expected starting lineups for these two teams. The goaltender matchup, as we mentioned, Amado Hernandez gets the start for UCSB. It's junior Grant Urosco between the pipes for California Lutheran. Urosco 9-6 overall with a .878 save percentage and a goals against average of 4. UCSB's first line will feature Jag Lawrence and captain Alex Wood-Dowdy on the wings, with center Christian Ockpish. For California Lutheran University, Elliot Cutbill centers Blake Stevens and Hayden Smith on the forwards. The defensemen will be Jeffrey Roberts and Max Hobro. The puck is down, and the Gauchos in their road blue as the lower seed begin with the puck, but it's turned over to Hobro in the neutral zone. He'll carry in, but has it knocked away by defenseman Keith Saito, who's out there initially paired with Dimitri Piagai. Puck laid up the near side wall, but not out. It's given back to the line where Elliot Cutbill drops it off and then has it poke checked back out to neutral ice. Retreating to retrieve is Max Hobro. Hobro plays it to the near side wall. Smith gives it up. The carry in by Stevens. His shot is blocked. Sent to the near boards to the line, but not out. Jeffrey Roberts tries to send it across the slot. It's blocked, and Alex Wood-Dowdy will skate up the left wing and backhand it into the zone. Hobro retreats behind the net to pick it up, plays it along the boards for Luke Ledarski. Giveaway in the slot. It's tried to be played to the front of the net by Zach Smith off the shift change, but CLU gets it out to neutral ice, and the teams will switch lines. Pass forward, looking for Barone. He gets a stick on it, and it chips into the right corner. Puck swung around by Captain Joey Janowski for CLU. It's reversed back to him in the far corner of the Knight defensive zone. Battle forward along the boards. Paul Norick tries to get it out. It's held in at the line and shot in behind by Goldzer, but ultimately chipped back out by Blake Hall. Vieira gathers, feed forward. The chip into the zone is knocked down at the defensive blue line of the Knights by Janowski, and he'll angle it off the near side boards out to neutral ice. UCSB tries a stretch pass up the far wing. Doesn't go far enough for icing. Spencer Votipka, assistant captain for CLU, plays it along the boards, and Blake Hall's able to get it out to the red line, but he meets a checker, and UCSB will dump it back in. Goldzer giving chase on Votipka. Spencer sends it around the near side corner. Hall is hit by Goldzer, but moves it forward for Janowski. Whiffs on a pass. Tries to stretch it forward. Pauliuso got a stick on it, and it rolls into the far corner of the UCSB defensive zone, where it's moved along by Mike Smith for Andrew Vieira in the near corner. Passes off the near boards, angled in off the boards by Trevor Rand. Cam Patterson giving chase, and he'll win the puck battle in the left corner from Spencer Votipka, but now 5 players tangling up, and with the man advantage, CLU wins it Tyler Tardif skates it out through neutral ice, gets to the top of the far circle, shoots it wide behind the net. Jeffrey Roberts will pick it up behind and throw it to the slot. Hobro's shot goes wide, stick side. Roberts tries to send it back to the line. Andrew Dalen will drop back as UCSB carries in up the right wing. Back pass by Pauliuso is intercepted by Roberts. Stretches it forward for Tardif to carry in up the left wing. Fakes the shot, then takes a snapper from the top of the near circle that Hernandez easily kicks to the left corner. It's worked back around behind the net to the right corner. UCSB centers it into the slot. Dangerous play, but Hernandez sticks it for Rand, who will give it forward for Cam Patterson, who carries into the far corner. He's sandwiched along the boards by Hobro, who moves it forward for Dalen, and Dalen will use the glass to bounce it out to center. Piagai knocks it down at the red line, tries to play it off the near boards. Dalen intercepts, shoots it into the zone, and Cutville picks it up along the near side boards. Sent into the slot, and it's deflected wide by Blake Stevens. Stevens chases for the puck in the near corner, looking for help from Hayden Smith. He angles it back to the line. Dalen unable to hold it in. He'll just shoot it back into the right corner and go for a shift change himself. The other four Knights remain out on the ice as Piagai plays it up the far side boards for Patterson. Patterson gives up for Ockfish. He'll carry up the left wing, backhanding it into the far corner. It rolls around to the near where Janowski will pick it up behind the net. Muscled off the puck by Wood Dowdy, but Blake Stevens comes and helps, sends it to the line. Not out, now it is. It gets by Saito, and now a potential breakaway for Stevens. But a great job defensively coming back to break it up by Jag Lawrence. Puck is given to the near side circle. Snapshot taken by Smith, saved by Hernandez. And UCSB will carry it out. Jag Lawrence carries in up the left wing. Slap shot from the top of the circles is blocked away to the near side corner by Votipka. It's worked behind the net, backhanded into the slot by Lawrence. It goes to Wood Dowdy at the line. Shot taken from the point by Mike Smith, easily sticked away by the left-hand blocker, right-hand catching goalie Grant Urosco, and CLU will work it out to neutral ice. 15:20 to go in the first period. No whistles as of yet as UCSB shoots it back into the zone. Janowski gathers for CLU and will play forward for Ledarski. Ledarski with a spin move to get away from the forecheck of Barone. And we got a penalty coming here against UCSB as carrying forward Blake Hall was clipped on the side by Zach Smith, and the sophomore draws the first penalty of the game. A power play coming for CLU at the 4:56 mark of the first period.
And there is clearly no feeling out period for these two teams. They are both going full bore aggression on each other right from the drop of the first puck. No love lost. These two teams are very familiar with each other. Let's see what happens on this power play.
Ledarski won the draw. Shot from the line by Hobro was deflected in front, and then Ledarski rolls it in on Hernandez, who will hold for a face-off to his left.
You'll remember from that weekend series a couple weekends ago, the Gaucho penalty kill held the Knights to no goals, no power play goals in those two games. And I guarantee you, the Knights have not forgotten about that.
Slapper off the draw. Hernandez stopped it. Dalen gets a second shot from the line. Pad save Hernandez. Rebound kicked to the bottom of the right circle, and it's backhanded in on him, and he makes the save, paddle down, and will hold. That was Paul Norick, who was sniffing at the bottom of the far circle. He had a goal in that two-game weekend set last time out. Face-off won by Ledarski. Goes to the line. Hobro slaps it wide to the stick side of Hernandez. Comes to the near point where Dalen will pitch it back in. Sent to the line for Hobro. Hobro shot blocked in the slot. Battle for the loose puck. And UCSB will able to skate it out as Patterson carries over the blue line. Barone tries to get it deeper, but it's blocked up by Andrew Dalen, one of the assistant captains for California Lutheran. Dalen plays forward for Ledarski. Ledarski carries in up the left wing. Skating down into the corner. Now the Knights look to set it up. Pass back for Hobro. His stick breaks as he tries to wrist a shot from the top of the far circle. Puck in the right corner.
Delayed penalty call.
UCSB with just under a minute to go on this CLU power play as it goes to the line. Walking it to the middle is Janowski. Gives it for Ledarski. His shot from the bottom of the near circle is stopped by Hernandez. Sent to the front of the net. And the shot goes wide by Dalen, but it's deflected by a Gaucho, and the whistle goes. It's a penalty against UCSB. So 45 seconds A 5-on-3 for CLU with 13:49 to go in the first period, as the guilty party is Dimitri Piagai.
And the Gauchos fortunate as well. That whistle was actually blown because of a crease violation from Cutbill in front of the net. Otherwise, Ledarski had a wide open shot and really no one there except really Elliot Cutbill blocking out the sun in front of the net. Extended 5-on-3 here. Gauchos at a very pivotal moment early.
Janowski with the puck, top of the far circle, gives for Dalen, gets it back, sends it over for Dalen. His slap shot blocked in front, rebound, they score! Hayden Smith on the rebound, backhands it past Amato Hernandez, and just like that, the 5-on-3 is made to hurt. 1-0 Knights. 13:37 to go first period.
And that's unfortunate for the Gauchos as they had such a strong start to this game as well. Really gumming up the neutral zone and doing everything they can to shut down the speed of the Knights, but 2 quick penalties and suddenly they find themselves in trouble and down a goal early on.
Hayden Smith with the marker for California Lutheran, and it puts the Knights in a spot where they have not been against UCSB since the opening game between the two teams with a lead. They shoot the puck in, still with over 1 minute and 30 seconds of power play time. Janowski with it at the line. Passes to the top of the far circle. It's snapped to the slot, looking for Elliot Cutbill. It's chipped back to the line, but it'll be held in there by Blake Stevens. No, it wasn't. Ends up coming out, and the Gauchos take advantage on the pass to the far boards, angling it out. Janowski with the puck near the face-off dot in center ice will skate towards the right wing and backhand it into the corner. Rims around to the near side where Andrew Vieira is engaged by a pair of gold-shirted Knights. Puck is won by CLU, played back to the line, but it hops Janowski's stick. He'll regather at the CLU blue line. Janowski skates left to right through the neutral zone, gives for Votipka. He will wrist one in from the red line that Hernandez blocks to the left corner. Vieira tries to play it up the boards. It's stopped at the point by Janowski. Touched for Stevens. He shoots it high over top of the net from the hashes in the near side slot. Battle for the puck in the right corner. It's given for Stevens again. He snaps another one over the top, this time from the opposite hash. Janowski, left point. Holding as there's 20 seconds to go in the CLU power play. His shot on, deflected behind by Cutbill. Cutbill comes up with the puck, tries a sharp angle shot, deflected by Vieira to the line. Janowski gives for Cutbill again. Again, Vieira chips away. Janowski gets it, sets up a tip play. Save made Amato Hernandez, and he holds for the face-off. And afterwards, there's a little bit of pushing and shoving. Smith just saying hello to Hayden Smith. No relation. So 8 seconds remain on the CLU power play. They lead 1-0, 11:57 to go first period.
And the Gauchos with a pretty rough time of it on that penalty-killing stretch. Only getting the puck out maybe a handful, maybe 2 or 3 times, but none of the times getting it all the way down 200 feet. Really got no further than the red line each time.
Tardif gives for Dalen, left point. His shot deflected down in front. 2 whacks at it by Roberts. Hernandez made both saves, and it comes to Dalen, and he slaps it in from between the tops of the circles. 2-0 California Lutheran as Andrew Dalen scores his 10th goal of the season.
And this is just an absolute blast from Dalen as well. He gets his own rebound essentially as the puck bounces right back to him at the point, and he makes no mistake. We've seen the power with which he can shoot the puck in every single meeting thus far, and Amato Hernandez just does not have the time or the ability to track that puck before it's in on goal towards him, and it's just too fast for him to be able to make that reaction save, and suddenly the Gauchos are in a steep hole, already down 2-0 early.
CLU wins the draw, angles it in on Hernandez, who will stick it to the left corner where Vieira will pick it up. Ledarski in, forechecking on him, played for the defender, goes forward for Ockpish, or correction, that's Barone, slapped in away from him by Dalen. Hernandez kicked it to the near boards, and now a whole lot of forechecking pressure from CLU as it's played out of the defensive zone by Smith. Mike Smith gives it up for Dalen, who plays it up the near side boards for Blake Hall. Hall hip checked off it by Zach Smith, but Piagai is unable to clear it out. He chases the puck down back behind his own net, angles off the near side boards. Goldser gives it away to a pinching Dalen. Dalen tries a backhand into the slot. It's deflected by the UCSB defense. Piagai comes up with the steal, will play it up the far boards, and the Gauchos just forced to go for an icing, looking for a pressure release valve as the Knights have ratcheted it up very much through the first 9 minutes and change of the game.
And since that first penalty that put the Gauchos down initially, they are yet to have any sort of possession on the Knights side of the red line for pretty much the entire last 6 or 7 minutes. The puck has been in the Santa Barbara end. When the puck goes down into the Knights zone, it's nothing more than either a line change or the Knights picking it immediately back up and going right back in.
Gauchos won the defensive zone draw, slowly rolled it in and got the shift change, but a stretch pass ahead springs Hayden Smith. Smith's shot from the bottom of the near circle, kicked to the corner by Hernandez. CLU comes up with the rebound. Cutbill will backhand it into the left corner. Reading it is Piagai, tries to play it to the line. It's held in there by Janowski. Janowski chips it back into the corner. Smith tracks it down, curls behind the net, plays it up the far boards. Cam Patterson will intercept, try and backhand it to the middle. Intercepted at the red line by Janowski, and he just flips it back in. Chip and chase from the Knights. Piagai behind the net, backhands it along the far boards, and a nice zone exit. Springs ran, and now a potential 2-on-1. Pagliuso's shot, glove save, Urasco, long rebound to the top of the near circle. Patterson gets it. Backhands it to the far boards. Nobody home for the Gauchos. Janowski intercepts and will play it for Hayden Smith in the neutral zone. Smith along the near side boards, feeds to Cutbill. Elliot Cutbill skates into the offensive zone off the left wing, skates across the top of the slot. Puck knocked to the far corner away from him. He angles it around to the left corner, well, to be picked up by Trevor Rand. Rand's attempted clears blocked by Jeffrey Roberts, but ultimately UCSB able to get it out as Patterson plays it up the near boards just out of the reach of Rand. Dalen comes up in the defensive zone, played forward by Tardif, chipped into the zone by Roberts. He chases in on Piagai, flexed away from him by Saito. Battle for the puck on the near side boards, won by CLU. Dalen plays it into the corner, spun along by Roberts. Mark Guzman comes into the right corner, moves it along the boards, but it comes out to neutral ice, and the Gauchos will carry in with it. Pagliuso coming down the left wing, tries to backhand in front, stick behind the net by Urasco. Pagliuso tried to center it, goes back to the line where it's held in by Saito. Saito works it deeper for Wood Dowdy, tried to find Lawrence, couldn't get it to him, but on the second chance sends it back for Saito. Saito, puck into the left corner where Lawrence is bodied up by Hobro. Goes behind the net for Okpish. Okpish backhands it off the back of the net. Dalen seals it away from him, enables Hobro to steal, but Okpish wins it back for Wood Dowdy. Wood Dowdy, Tardif angles him off the puck. Hobro will play it around the boards to the blue line and out to neutral ice where Okpish will pick it up. Okpish dumps into the left corner, forces Hobro to come back and gather it. Lawrence creates a turnover, but Urasco's stick prevents the centering feed and enables Hobro to play it out up the near side boards for Ledarski. Under fire from Wood Dowdy, creates the turnover. Wood Dowdy, the near side boards, penalty coming against CLU as he leaves it for Lawrence along the near side wall. Hall touches up, and with 7:43 to go in the first period, a slashing penalty will give UCSB their first power play of the game, trailing 2-0.
And if you're the Cal Lutheran Knights, you take this penalty because you had Wood Dowdy barreling in down the sideboards, and he had a step on everyone in front of him and a little bit of a momentum advantage. So Hall reaches around, takes a couple slashes at the hands, takes the penalty, maybe a little bit of a soft call based on what's been going on, but nonetheless, one you take to slow Wood Dowdy down.
Barone won the offensive zone draw, back to the line. Shot on by Smith, glove save by Urasco, and he holds.
And we've talked about the improvement for the Gauchos in the penalty kill of their game thus far. However, the power play has also improved significantly as of late as well. The Gauchos do need to get one here quickly in order to get themselves back in the game. They are down a pair, need to cut that in half.
CLU won the draw, was blocked at the line on the first clear, but Ledarski on the second try will send it behind where Hernandez will tee it up for Vieira. Vieira hesitating, handed off for Barone, and now it's sent along the near boards. Attempting to carry in Smith, will just pitchfork it behind Urasco where Janowski comes up with it. The hard clear along the glass goes to the line, Vieira holds in. For Barone along the far side boards, given to the corner and gets it back. Barone to the line for Vieira. Vieira for Smith, top of the near circle. Smith switches to the far side face-off circle. Barone tried to center. It's blocked by Votipka. Plays along the far side boards to the line. where Vieira holds it in for Smith at the right point. Smith switches back for Vieira at the left, trying to open up that penalty kill box. The attempted incisive pass is blocked, goes to the line, but Smith holds. Gives for Barone, top of the far circle, now for Vieira. Vieira shot deflected in front of the net by Smith. Urasco makes the save on the dribbler and covers it up.
And boy, the Gauchos are protesting that little bit of a quick whistle as the puck appeared to be loose out in front of Urasco, but Knights are the beneficiaries of a little bit of just maybe an impulsive whistle from the referee. Nonetheless, face-off down low. Gauchos have a chance to continue this power play, which has looked pretty good so far.
Poliuso, Rand out there, as well as Patterson, the forwards on this second unit. Piagai shot from the line, kick to the left corner with a nice save by Urasco. Rebound tracked down now by Rand. Back to the line, gave in for Piagai. Piagai switches points for Saito. Saito shot, looking for the deflection. Patterson, second chance try, pad save, rebound, and Urasco denies him on a second pop. Boy, Urasco, I don't think even realized he made the initial save. A pure positioning kick stop on Patterson's attempt from the far face-off dot.
And Patterson got everything on that shot as well, used probably 2, maybe 3 pairs of legs as a screen. Urasco, like you mentioned, in good position to make the initial save, and then an even better position to control the rebound that spat out in front of him.
Stevens wins the defensive zone draw for the Knights. Attempted clear by Hobro, held in at the far point by Saito. Saito gives for Piagai with 20 seconds to go on the power play. His shot from the line blocked by Dalen, and Cutbill will clear. Hernandez puts it for Keith Saito. UCSB had converted on over 17% of their power plays for the season coming into this, but it looks like this one will go begging. Patterson on the speed in, his shot from the top of the crease stopped, sent back to the line for Saito to hold in. Saito for Patterson as the penalty is over. CLU back to full strength, give and go play. Patterson's shot from the far side hash is denied and sent back out. Piagai at the defensive blue line will give it up for his partner Saito and get it back as the forechecking pressure comes. Stretches up the near sideboards for Poliuso. Poliuso tried to dance around Roberts. No luck. Roberts the steal, and he'll carry ahead into the offensive zone off the left wing. Drops it back for Tardif. Slap shot. Save made by Hernandez. Played to the far side boards. And Jag Lawrence taken down as he tries to clear out. Another power play coming for UCSB as Hernandez sprints off for the extra attacker. Looks like that may be a trip on Hayden Smith that's coming up here as Lawrence introduced to the ice by Tardif, but got it forward for Poliuso. Poliuso in along the left boards, ultimately dispossessed by Knights captain Joey Janowski, and on the touch-up, the call will be made for the hook, and with 4:51 to go in the first period, Gauchos to their second power play.
And this is a penalty that's going to make the hair on the heads of the coaching staff for Cal Lutheran turn a little bit more gray. About 160 feet away from their own goal, and really the whole trip comes just because of a stab at a puck that was more or less unnecessary, but also very careless as it went right into the feet of Lawrence and took him down. Black and white call.
Akpish won the draw, set up for a right point snapper by Vieira that's gloved by Urasco when he holds. Akpish with Lawrence and Wood Dowdy as the top forward line. Mike Smith and Andrew Vieira, the defenseman. Ledarski, Janowski, Votipka, and Norick to kill the 2-minute hooking minor on Tyler Tardif as it officially goes in the books. Puck in the left corner, Lawrence will give it back to the line for Smith. Smith walks it, gives for Vieira top of the near circle. Splits it across to the far side face-off dot. Lawrence fakes a slapper, now takes it. It's blocked, goes back to the line. Smith holds it there, will give for Lawrence once more. Votipka out on him, forces a shot, save made. Dowdy gives it for a diving Vieira. His shot popped up in the air, goes for Lawrence along the far side boards. Jag switches Vieira, top of the near circle, switch across, one-timer try, goes wide on Akpish's shot from the bottom of the far circle. Rebound sent along the far boards. Lawrence stops it, gives it to the line for Smith. Smith fakes the load up, gives for Lawrence. Slapper, save made with a blocker, rebound. Gloved behind the net by Janowski to himself. He picks it up, and he will send it the length of the sheet. Under a minute to go on the Gaucho power play as it rolls in on Hernandez. He's forced to freeze it as pressure coming in from Paul Norick. makes him think, well, let's just reset with 3:44 to go in the first. Gauchos trailing 2-0.
And that's good penalty killing from Cal Lutheran, not breaking and not opening up that box. Gauchos getting a few good passes through to make dangerous chances and went wide from Pauliuso. Good penalty killing, though, to get in and pressure it and force a few more seconds off the clock with the face-off.
Hernandez made a save off the draw. The Gauchos able to exit the zone for Barone to carry in up the middle of the ice. Angles to the near side boards, tries to play it back. Cutbill got a stick on it, and Stevens comes away with it. Carries to the left wing where he'll dump it in behind the net. Hernandez moves it behind for Saito to wind up and play it out up the far side boards. Fed to the middle of the ice where it ultimately finds Zach Smith, and he nubs it into the right corner. 20 seconds to go in the power play as Dalen plays it along the far boards to the point, but not out. Held in by Saito. Gives it up for Barone, and now Saito gets it back. Skates toward the middle. His shot, wrister, save made. Urosco, no traffic in front. Easy save for the Knights keeper.
And the Gauchos are doing well to direct pucks towards Urosco's net. Unfortunately, nothing really all that dangerous on this power play, despite some good-looking puck movement. Nothing really that Urosco hasn't been able to handle. Not a whole lot of traffic in front of the net either.
Barone ready to take the draw against Blake Stevens with 9 seconds remaining in the power play, and the circle to the right of Urosco. Stevens wins the draw. Will be slapped by Hobro. Nice diving stop at the line by Piagai. He angles it back in behind, but the power play's over. Centered in front, and a stab on by Barone, stopped by Urosco, and he holds long enough to get the whistle.
Good poke from Zach Smith there as well to try to just get there and maybe jostle the puck loose. Unfortunately, no luck and a good whistle.
Looking over at the UCSB bench, Hannes Johnson, who tried to give it a go in the pregame skate, is now in street clothes, and he's got both arms extended as if, what are you doing? But an offensive zone faceoff coming once more for UCSB. The power plays have given them some momentum. They're looking to try and get their first of the game. Draw one by the Knights. Shot in from the far boards by Norick, handled by Hernandez, plays it to the corner. Norick giving chase, but Piagai comes away with it, angles it up the near side boards, not out, backhanded in by Dalen for Ledarski. Ledarski goes down top of the circle, but it comes for a backhand by Blake Hall that skitters wide across the slot. Saito plays it to the line, gets help from a backhand from Patterson to get it across the red line. Now he'll carry in left wing. Comes across the top of the slot. Patterson now near boards. His shot through traffic. Save made. Urosco's on his wallet. Rebound couldn't be found in front by Pauliuso. Played along the near side boards. Dalen tries to clear. Stolen by Patterson. Centered in front. He scores! What do you know? It's Mitchell Pauliuso. And the Gauchos' leading point scorer has put UCSB on the board 2-1 with 2:02 to go in the first period.
And Cam Patterson makes an excellent play along the near side boards here to keep that puck alive after turning it over to the defense. He gloves down the clearing attempt along the wall, puts it down on his stick in front of him, looks up, and he's got Pauliuso wide open in front of the net. He drills this pass over and hits it right on the tape. Pauliuso just roofs it right off the water bottle. Perfect execution from those two players. And good news for the Gauchos to get one on the board here in the first period.
8th of the season from Pauliuso makes it 2-1 as UCSB wins the draw and shoots it into the zone. Votipka has it taken away by Patterson, but help coming from Mark Guzman enables Votipka to get the puck back. Angles it behind for Janowski. He'll send it behind his own net for Roberts up the near side boards, but it's held in at the line by Rand. Hits the official, and Tardif on the second try is able to get it out to the red line where it's intercepted and then carried back into the zone by Wood Dowdy. Backhander across the slot. Can't find Patterson. Backhanded. And then ultimately cleared out by Votipka. Tardif tries to give for Guzman. It's intercepted at the red line. Pressure from Pauliuso forces the dump in by Janowski, and Vieira will give it up for Smith and get it back in the near side corner. 5 ticks before a minute to go here in the first period as it's sent just a step behind Wood Dowdy. Lawrence tried to hit him at the CLU blue line. Roberts up the near side boards into the Gaucho zone, but a quick turn by UCSB to get it out as Lawrence from the red line chips it over the CLU defensive blue. Votipka plays forward for Tardif. Tardif will carry in, snaps a shot from the top of the near circle. Save made Hernandez, and he holds with 41.3 to go in the first.
And the Gauchos have done an excellent job turning the momentum of this game thanks to that pair of power plays. No goal scored on either of them, but the sustained possession and the momentum-changing plays that they made ultimately lead to the goal that cuts the lead in half at 2-1. But also the Gauchos with the far better zone and possession time here in the last few minutes of the period.
Stevens won the draw. Hobro pitched it to the corner where it's chased down by Hayden Smith. Board battle behind the net, won by the Knights for Stevens. Stevens touches for Elliot Cutbill. Cutbill back for Stevens. Shoots and he scores! A pretty play with some great board work as Cutbill on the backhand pass found Stevens alone at the bottom of the near circle, and he snapped it home short side, beating Hernandez to the blocker. 3-1 Cal Lutheran.
And the Gauchos guilty of falling asleep in the defensive zone, leaving Stevens alone right in the bottom of the face-off circle, and he had all the time in the world to rip this one past Amato Hernandez. He didn't use any of it, though. This was a one-time shot that beat him short side, and unfortunately, just as quickly as the Gauchos get back to within one, they're back down a pair.
Off the draw, controlled by CLU. Dalen shoots in, bounces behind to the right corner where it's picked up by Saito. Saito under fire from Smith. Will just play this one forward. Picked up at the CLU defensive blue line by Dalen. Gives it back across for Hobro. Checks the clock, plays it behind the net. And the first 20 minutes are in the books. The California Lutheran Knights leading ice hockey at UCSB 3-1. Thanks to goals by Hayden Smith, Andrew Dalen, and leading scorer Blake Stevens nets his 16th of the season to make it 3-1. But in there, UCSB got a goal from Mitchell Poliuso, assisted by Cam Patterson. Kyle Nicholas, a very interesting opening 20 minutes.
Absolutely. Both teams, like I mentioned, familiarity with each other means there was more or less no feeling out period between these two. They started just going after each other and attacking full bore immediately right off the bat. And so far, the better of the aggression has gone to the Knights. The Knights coming out 3 goals in the period, and you hate to give up those late goals, especially with considering how much the momentum can turn off something like that. The Gauchos getting the better of the play, falling asleep for just a split second in the defensive zone. And of course, Stevens is the one who gets the puck in the low circle and just blows it by Hernandez, who has no chance to make that save at all whatsoever. And suddenly, just like that, the momentum goes right back into the favor of the Knights going into the second period here. The Gauchos, once again, have a very steep hill to climb if they want to come back. It is only 2 goals. The Gauchos have come back from far worse and far shorter amounts of time. But the Knights look like they are playing better hockey than maybe we've even seen them play all season long.
And it's the perfect time for it, just like the perfect place to stay when you're in Santa Barbara is the South Coast Inn, the 2015-16 broadcast sponsor of ice hockey at UCSB. Whether you're in town for a sporting event, homecoming, or graduation, you can depend on the South Coast Inn to make you feel right at home. And remember, keep up with the NCHA on the web, ncha.us, as well as on Twitter at NCHA Ice Hockey. Thanks to the folks at NCHA for retweeting our broadcast. We'll have the 3rd place and championship games of the California Cup tomorrow, 9 a.m. and scheduled 11 a.m. local time. Back to action, UCSB with possession. As we begin the second period of play, the blue uniformed Gauchos skating right to left now, as behind the net in the defensive end, Smith will give for Vieira, who stretches up the far boards for Tyler Barone. Barone on the carry-in, gets to the top of the high slot. His shot deflects to the backboards, where it's recontrolled by Goldser. Goldser bumped off the puck, and Brent Stevens will give ahead for Cutbill. Now gives for the carry-in by Hobro. It's sticked away from him by Smith, but CLU retained possession for a moment before Hayden Smith had it backhanded away from him back out to neutral territory. Pass for Smith on the near side boards, intercepted by Mike Smith. Gives for Barone, who will angle it behind the net, where it's picked back up by Janowski. Janowski in CLU look to break out. Ledarski carries through the middle of the ice. 3 blue shirts on him. Forced the playback for Janowski, who shot in on Hernandez, is easily blocker to the right corner. Piagai backhands it around the end boards for Saito. It's stretched forward and chipped into the zone by Poliuso, the Gaucho goal scorer. And on the forecheck, he pressures Janowski, who uses the near boards. Tempted back out by Norick, is blocked, but he gets it back on the chip back in by Saito. Now will carry in up the right wing. Norick along the near side boards, tries to throw into the slot. It's blocked. Centering feed by Ledarski. Hall can't find it. Pressure on him from Rand. It gets to the line, but not out. Backhanded back for Ledarski in the far face-off dot, but knocked away by UCSB, and it comes to Poliuso, who carries into the offensive zone at the right wing. His shot deflected behind the net. He'll track it down in the left corner. Poliuso tries to curl to the slot. Gives it up for Patterson, who sends it behind the net where Rand gathers. Rand backhands it to the line. Piagai, slapper, he scores! He caught Urasco looking the wrong way. Beats him to the blocker's side, and the Gauchos get one from the big bruiser on the blue line. Piagai makes it 3-2 with 17:54 to go in the second.
And what a time for Piagai to come up with his second goal of the season. This puck was definitely tipped on the way in, and that's what fooled Urasco. Looking like Cal Lutheran tried to take a swipe at it out of midair, and that just knocked it downward. All that really needed just to change the angle about 10-15 degrees on the downward trajectory. And of course, it's right into the back of the net. The Gauchos doing excellent work so far in this period to negate the momentum that they may have lost to the Knights, coming out and getting that key goal early on to reestablish the flow of the game. That's going to do wonders for their confidence here going forward.
California Lutheran 3, ice hockey at UCSB 2. Fifth meeting between these two teams. The Gauchos have won 3 of the previous 4, and the last 3. The winner takes on Chapman University in tomorrow's championship game, scheduled for an 11 a.m. Pacific start. We'll have it for you on the ice hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. Gauchos control off the face-off. Along the near side boards, it's slapped around behind by Lawrence. Wood Dowdy pinned in along the far boards in the right corner by Votipka. He'll be played forward for Roberts, and Roberts is decked by Piagai at the red line, enables Akpish to come back and play for Saito along his own blue line. Chipped in by Wood Dowdy, save made by Urasco, and as Wood Dowdy bears in on him, Urasco will freeze with the side of the Gaucho captain in the train tracks.
Dimitri Piagai not only scores the big goal for the Gauchos, but goes right back to essentially what's the forte of his game and throws just an absolute bone-crunching hit right in the middle of the open ice, his specialty.
Top line out, still for UCSB. It's the Stevens line out for CLU. Blake Stevens wins the draw behind the net where Janowski will pick up under fire from Akpish, so just angles it out to the neutral zone off the far boards. Vieira gives ahead for Wood Dowdy. Wood Dowdy tried to play it behind, intercepted by Janowski. Janowski will play it to Votipka, who backhands it into neutral ice. Wood Dowdy intercepts, but Cutbill wedged him off the puck. Now Smith comes up with it and will carry in up the left wing. He snaps a shot. Glove save made by Urasco, centered in front. 2 whacks at it. Urasco makes 2 saves on Akpish. Puck to the near side boards, then angled out for Stevens. Stevens strings it wide to the left wing, backhands it against the grain to the right along the near side boards. Smith backhands it, trying to get it deeper as Cutbill and Smith engage. Smith sends it behind the back of the net. Vieira along the far side boards for Wood Dowdy, and Wood Dowdy will get it out to neutral ice where it's gathered at the red line by Janowski. Janowski skates left to right to the near boards, stops up at the red line with Lawrence forechecking on him, gives for Votipka, and now gets it back as the defenders play catch. Janowski gets the line, tries to backhand it in, intercepted at the blue line by Smith. Stretch for Wood Dowdy, he gets a tip on it to tip it in behind the CLU net where Votipka picks it up. Tries a stretch pass looking for Ledarski, intercepted by Smith. He'll give back for Vieira, who returns it for Smith in the UCSB defensive zone. Feed to the red line. Can't sync up with Zach Smith, but he beats Votipka to nullify the icing. Feeds for Golter, tries to backhand it across the slot, broken up by Ledarski, and the Knights play it forward where Norick will chip it in up the near side wall. He gives for Saito. Saito angles it along the near side boards for Zach Smith, ahead for Goldser. Goldser rebound spat out to the bottom of the circle. Goldser a try. Save made Urosco. Rebound sent to the near point. Shot through traffic from Saito. Doesn't get through. Attempted stuff by Goldser at the near post. Stuffed by Urosco, and he holds with 14:56 to go in the second period. Hernandez appreciatively bangs his stick.
And the Gauchos have put themselves back in the driver's seat here in the second.
Boards, Barone has it chipped away from him by Guzman, but Dalen finally able to get it out to neutral ice for Tardif, who angles it forward for Roberts into the near side corner of the UCSB defensive zone. Guzman tries to feather a centering feed in front that's intercepted by Saito. He'll carry it along the near side boards, try and feed it out, looking for Barone. It's chipped forward and stopped up by Dalen at the CLU blue line. He gains center red and shoots in. Hernandez got a touch on it behind, enables Saito to send it off the boards to the line, not out. Good hold. Comes for Roberts, gives for the shot in the slot. Sizzled wide, rebound, backhand by Guzman. Save made Hernandez, and he freezes it. And down on his stomach in the crease.
The Gauchos get away with that one as suddenly just a night wide open in front of Amado Hernandez. No one there to shut down the pass. Everyone seems to fall asleep, just chasing after the puck carrier, and the Gauchos get away with a defensive lapse, fortunate to still be down only one goal.
Third line out for UCSB, Ledarski's line with Cutville and Stevens. Now out for the Knights as CLU controls off the draw. Ledarski knocked off the puck by Mike Smith behind the net. Pauliuso uses the glass, gets it out to neutral territory. Janowski tried to backhand it back in. Pauliuso intercepts and carries through the neutral zone into the attack and up the left wing. Pauliuso takes it to the front of the net, tries to stuff, paddle down. Save made by Urosco, and he freezes.
And Urosco just having absolutely none of that. Good individual effort nonetheless from Pauliuso to recognize that the ice in front of him opened up, and rather than continue to look around with his head up on a swivel for a pass, just decided to turn on the jets, took a couple powerful strides, was behind the defenseman, had a good opportunity.
Knights won the draw, but CLU gives it up. Backhander at the far post. Save made by Urosco with a diving stick stop on Cam Patterson. Stevens carries forward. His shot from the top of the near circle, stopped by Hernandez. May has stung him, so he gobbles it up with the glove after the fact. That was one up at the right shoulder that may have caught Hernandez a little bit awkwardly.
And those are the ones that really hurt right around that collarbone area as well. You're the goaltending aficionado, you would know that's an area that, even though it's padded, still very sensitive.
Gauchos win the defensive zone draw, played along the near sideboards. Pauliuso comes up with it, skates out to center. Pauliuso comes in offside as Cam Patterson in a step early up the left wing.
And that's unfortunate because they were both flying in at full speed. Cal Lutheran looked like they did not have the backward momentum to possibly catch up on that one as well. Just a hair off on the timing. Fortunately, good catch by the linesman, and it will be a face-off outside the neutral territory.
Pauliuso Tardif, check that Norick, the face-off matchup here. Norick wins it back for Hobro. CLU angles it out off the near side glass to the neutral zone, but Pauliuso intercepted it there, trying to carry in, but Norick comes up with the steal, plays forward. Hayden Smith stood up at the blue line by Mike Smith, and the Gauchos able to get it back out. Played forward, Cam Patterson gets the tip on it as it rolls in up the left boards. Hobro plays it for Norick. Norick to the blue line, and it hops over the attempted gloved hold in by Zach Smith. Ran with it in the defensive zone for UCSB, plays ahead for Smith. He'll carry in up the right wing. He's got Lawrence driving the slot, tries to center for him. Jag tips it, and he scores! Lawrence coming down the middle, and the littlest man on the ice comes up with the big goal for UCSB to tie it at 3 with 12:25 to go in the second period.
And a lot of credit to Jag Lawrence for going to that dirty area of the ice where players would be getting abused by Cal Lutheran defensemen all night long. But a great rush up the boards and feed, and Lawrence in the perfect spot to take that one and just fling it over the pad. We are tied 3-3. Gauchos again firmly in control of this game at the moment.
For Jaguar, it is his second goal of the season. Give the assist to Zach Smith. It is his second helper, and we're tied at 3 as the Gauchos control off the ensuing faceoff. Wood Dowdy will angle it deep. Hobro plays it behind the net. It's intercepted by Lawrence. Gets for 2 tries in the slot, and Ockpish denied on the first, sent the second one wide.
Boy, he didn't miss by much either. He had that entire side of the net to the blocker of Urosco wide open.
Wood Dowdy up the right wing, centered in front, tipped just wide by Lawrence to the far post. Puck goes to the right corner where Hobro has a moment, and he will chip it out to center with help. Played for Lawrence up the left wing. He'll backhand it in behind where it's picked up by Dalen. Dalen along the boards for Roberts, intercepted by Barone. Tries to walk through his man. Stopped at the faceoff dot, but gets it back, shoots and scores! Tyler Barone puts the Gauchos in front off the defensive zone. Knights turnover. Ice hockey at UCSB leads 4-3.
And the Gauchos are capitalizing on the opportunities they are being given. The forecheck has been absolutely relentless on the last few shifts, and it's caused turnovers, and the Gauchos are finally able to capitalize on one and send it behind Urosco. What an incredible shot from Barone, and the presence of mind to then turn and just fire the shot as soon as he got it on his stick. He was not initially facing the net, but recognized how much time he had, and boy, did he make the right decision.
Off the draw, CLU into the attack, and 11:20 to go in the second period with the Gauchos in the driver's seat for the first time in the game. They've scored the game's last 3 goals. Barone carries into the attack and up the right wing. Backhands it across the slot. Comes to the near boards where Ledarski picks it up. Ledarski curls around, and now skating through center, does a nice job to get by Saito. Saito trips him up, and it rolls in on Hernandez, and this will lead to a power play for CLU, and that's one that I think kind of has to be taken by Saito, as Ledarski very nearly walked him.
And Ledarski had all the speed he needed coming through, and he made the nice little stick handling move to get through Saito. So yes, good penalty for the Gauchos to take, but boy, this is a big moment here for UCSB. Firmly in control and now in the lead of this game, but now with back on the penalty kill against a very good so far this evening power play from the Knights.
Cutbill back to the line for Janowski. Janowski shot through traffic, deflects to the far corner. Stevens picks it up back to the line. Votipka gives back for Stevens along the far boards. Backhands it behind the net to the right corner for Cutbill. Cutbill back to the point. Janowski spins, gives for Cutbill along the near side wall. At the hashes, Cutbill gives back to the line. Janowski gives it back to Cutbill, center to the slot. Kick save Hernandez as he denies Ledarski alone in front. Back to the line for Janowski. Janowski gives for Cutbill. Near face-off dot. Tries a backdoor feed for Stevens. Hops away from him, but Stevens gathers and curls around. Plays it behind the net where Cutbill picks up. Sends it into the slot. Nobody home and cleared by Goldser. Hustling Goldser and Zach Smith able to get the forward change for UCSB on the penalty kill. 1 minute to go in the Knights power play. Head of steam is stood up at the blue line. Janowski has it backhanded away by Cam Patterson. Votipka has to go back into the Knights defensive end to pick it up.
Good read from Mike Smith defensively.
Stevens carries over the blue line in the middle. Ledarski gives it back and can't link up with Janowski. It rolls back out into the neutral ice face-off circle. Played forward for Stevens up the far wall. Too far for him. Intercepted by Vieira. Plays along the near boards. And Mike Smith will shoot it out through the legs of Votipka into the CLU defensive end. Janowski picks it up there. Gives it. The neutral ice face-off dot for Stevens. The carry and give for Ledarski. Snap shot. Glove save made Hernandez as he gobbles up the wrister from the top of the near circle. 18 seconds to go on the power play.
And the Gauchos guilty killing this penalty of letting a few too many passes through right to the high danger areas of the ice into the high slot. Janowski was all alone a couple times, just couldn't get clean contact, and then a pass through the slot right on top of the crease found Stevens. Fortunately for the Gauchos, he tipped that puck up and over the net on that last play. Gauchos need to make sure they can keep the danger areas of the ice clear while short.
Norwich Smith Tardif, the forward power play line for CLU. Dalen has his pass across, intercepted by Christian Ockpish. Ockpish, can he split the D? Drives, he has taken down, backhands it, and he scored! puts it between the wickets of Urosco. And the Gauchos lead by 2 on a shorthanded goal by Christian Okpish with 9:02 to go in the second period.
Christian Okpish picked this pass off and was away before anyone realized that the puck had been taken away. And the Knights defense had to scramble. They even took him down. I believe there was a delayed penalty coming up, but it didn't matter. Okpish got just enough on the puck to slip it 5-hole. What an impressive goal. I can't wait to see the video of that one later.
CLU wins the ensuing draw after Okpish scores his 9th goal of the season, doubling the ice hockey at UCSB lead. And they kill off the remainder of the Knights power play is out of the box, but it comes to the slot. Tardif tries to load, can't fire. Norick gets a shot, then Hernandez makes a blocker save onto the far corner, and UCSB shoots it the length of the sheet. Alert stop by Amado Hernandez with 8:35 to go in the second period.
And that stop was an insanely difficult one from Hernandez. No time to set up, puck bouncing around between skates, and all it took was Norick just finding it facing the right direction. He got everything on that wrist shot. Hernandez standing in the right spot, just dropped down and made the save positionally being in the right spot.
Okpish wins the defensive zone draw, tried to play it along the far side boards for Wood Dowdy. Norick intercepted it, gives it up for Votipka at the line, does a good job to hold it in. Went to the blue, but not over. Votipka tries to center from along the goal line in the far corner, intercepted by Vieira, played forward for Wood Dowdy, and it will go into the CLU zone. Janowski plays forward for Tardif. Tardif just slaps for the dump and chase. Goes behind where Smith picks it up, but he's wedged off with the shoulder-to-shoulder hit by Vieira. Gives for Wood Dowdy. Tried to chip it by Janowski. Janowski stood him up, but on the second try, UCSB gets it out where it's held up by Smith at the red line, given for Janowski, who loops around through the neutral zone up the near side boards. Janowski head of scheme, gets to the front of the net, and he scores! Hernandez went fishing with the poke check, but Janowski just loops around to the front of the net, drags it forehand, and slides it home. Tweeners 5-4 with 7:44 to go second period.
And the Gauchos did everything they could to slow Janowski down, but he fought off 2 hits and then cut his way to the front of the net. Gauchos guilty of being a little bit flat-footed on that play. Nonetheless, something Hernandez probably would want back in hindsight, going for the poke check there. Janowski read that the whole way and just slammed it between his legs, and suddenly all the momentum that's been built in this 5-3 lead is now cut to 5-4. Gauchos still out in front, but nonetheless a goal going the other way is really going to serve to balance the momentum so far.
15th of the season for the CLU captain. Knights working it out of their own end after the shoot-in by UCSB. Held in at the line by Saito for Barone, who sends it behind the net. Hobro will work it to the right corner. Stevens gets it there, sends it to the opposite corner for Hobro. Guzman touches and gets it out to neutral ice where UCSB steals. Mike Smith, a high clear in. Attempted to be handed out by Hobro. And on the second try, the Knights get it to neutral territory. UCSB just shoots it in up the far boards where Ledarski picks it up, feeds for Dalen. His cross ice pass is intercepted by Goldser, but stud up the line by Ledarski, and it'll be shot into the zone by Dalen. Curling behind the UCSB net. Saito uses the far boards, can't get it out. Ledarski held it in. Hernandez touches it behind the net for Mike Smith, uses the glass, hits off the top of the dasher. Ledarski tried to center for Guzman in the slot, almost stolen by Marone. Picked back up, sent to the slot, swept checked out of the zone by Saito. Rolling, and won't go far enough for icing as the forecheck from Barone forced the end of the icing. But CLU got it out to neutral territory, and Ledarski will shoot this one in. Saito comes back behind his own net. 2 forecheckers on him, and Stevens forces the turnover. Centers to the slot. Ledarski unable to get a lot on it with Patterson sticking his midsection from behind. Battle for the puck along the far boards, and finally it'll be backhanded out like a pitchfork throwing hay up on the stack. Goes all the way in on Urosco for Votipko, who will reverse it around. Cutbill allows Janowski to pick it up. Gets the feed from him in the near corner. Stretches a pass to the middle that's chipped up in the air, not out, but ends up on the stick of Cutbill along the near side boards. He shoots it in to the left corner with Chase Given, but Saito got there first, played to the line, not out. Janowski with room, walks across the slot. Now to the near face-off dot, looks back, gives to the far face-off dot. One-timer, Tardif didn't get a lot on it, bounced behind the net up the near wall. Smith able to get it forward for Patterson, and Patterson just loops it out where it'll roll on edge into the CLU zone. Cutbill played it forward, worked off the glass by Votipka. Patterson couldn't get it in past Cutbill, and now Rand fans on an attempted dump in, but will give it forward for Pauliuso. Pauliuso dangles to get by Janowski, gets past Votipka, tries to center to the slot. Backhander by Patterson, save made Urosco. Rebound cleared to the line, Vieira holds the right point, sends it in behind the net where Pauliuso picks it up. Pauliuso tries to stuff near post, pad save Urosco. Barone comes up with a rebound, gives for Vieira far point. Vieira backhands it in front. Save made Urosco. There was a screen from Pauliuso. Puck comes to the near boards. Piagai holds it in and sends it down to the corner. Attempted clear, and on the second touch, it'll ultimately be sent out by Jeffrey Roberts. Vieira pass at the red line for Piagai, and Piagai will shoot in fresh forwards over the boards for UCSB. It's the top line out there, and Lawrence comes up with the steal far boards. Lawrence, bottom of the far circle, tries to pass across and just unable to link up with Wood Dowdy. Now Janowski with it, head of steam in up the right wing. Janowski to the slot, shoots, and he scores! Shoots back against the grain and beats Hernandez high glove side. We're tied 5-5 on the CLU captain's second of the game with 3:59 to go in the second period.
And that's unfortunate. The Gauchos seemed like they were starting to push back after giving up that goal. And now the game immediately back to even on two great individual efforts from Janowski. This is just a perfect shot ringing off the iron to beat Hernandez. And boy, this game is far from over. 3:57 left in the second period, and we are tied 5-5. After the Gauchos went down a pair, they were up a pair, and now we're even again.
Lawrence carrying in up the right wing is dispossessed by Dalen, sent around behind the defensive end by Smith, but it comes to the near corner where Wood Dowdy wins a puck battle, takes it behind the net, tries to backhand it in front, kicked out all the way to the blue line, but not out by Urosco. Vieira on the hold-in, sends it behind the net where Ockpish comes up with it, tries to backhand it to the slot. It's intercepted there by Blake Hall. Hall works it out up the near side boards. Taking a hit to make a play and carry it in is Smith. Gives for Hall. For Ledarski, his shot screams high over top. He's trying to pick the blocker side corner on Hernandez, and Piagai will play it out. Dalen rewinds it. Pass to the near side boards where it's stubbed in by Smith. Piagai picks it up behind the net. Will backhand it back for Vieira and reverse flow. Vieira plays it along the near side wall. Couldn't link up with Zach Smith. He's dumped in with Ledarski offside, so enables Vieira to find Ockpish, and he will play it for Smith. Smith tried to carry, stood up at the blue line by Ledarski. 2:40 to go in the second period. Ledarski shot from the top of the near circle, save Hernandez, and he will freeze it. This is fun, isn't it, Kyle?
Playoff hockey, nothing like it. Every single game of this tournament so far has been a barn burner. This game definitely no different.
Face off to the left of Hernandez, Barone against Norick. And Barone wins the defensive zone draw for the Gauchos. Zach Smith angles it out up the near side boards. Janowski drifts back, able to backhand it out off the boards. Barone tried to play back for Saito. It's intercepted by Tardif. Tried to touch for Norick, knocked away from him by Smith. Sends it left to right to the far boards. The neutral zone, and Mike Smith just dribbles it in to the right corner of CLU. It's shot for Spencer Votipka in the corner. He plays it to neutral ice, where it'll be carried in by Stevens up the right wing. Center to the slot. Attempted return for Stevens. Couldn't link up with him. Stick back out to neutral territory, and Zach Smith trying to lift the stick on Votipka. Spencer just plays it to the far boards and forces UCSB to angle it in on the near boards, where Votipka will get it back and feed for Norick. Norick gives up for Stevens. Stevens, long shot, sticked to the right corner by Hernandez. Norick comes up with the long rebound, tried to play to the slot, just kicked forward by Saito, and Barone will carry into the offensive zone up the left wing. Bodied into the boards once, twice by Dalen. Barone digging, trying to get the puck free from Dalen, and finally does. as it comes to Patterson, who sends it to the line for Saito. Saito shot through traffic, pinballs to the near post, but Dalen picks it up, goes behind the net and curls it along the far side boards, ultimately heaved out on the backhand by Blake Smith. Or Blake Stevens, I should say. 1:05 to go here in the second period as Cam Patterson skates across the Gaucho defensive blue line left to right, gets it forward for Rand, who takes a hit from Dalen and gets it deep. Back behind the net, it's picked up by Hobro. Hobro gets help from Smith. There's a whole battle along the near side boards. Patterson to the line, Saito shoots, save made by Yarosco, and he holds with 43.2 to go second period.
Games like this come about when two teams respect each other but do not fear each other, and there is absolutely no fear in either of these teams' eyes. Both teams know this game is theirs for the taking, and there is a spot in the championship game on the line. You can tell the playoff atmosphere on the ice, the playoff atmosphere in the stands, and both these teams are living up to the hype. This is a heck of a battle.
CLU wins the defensive zone draw. Votipka plays it forward for Cutbill. Elliot Cutbill will angle it in up the near side boards, chases it down in the corner. He's met there by Saito. Cutbill backhands it into the slot, nobody home. Rand plays for Patterson. Patterson will carry, drifting to the right wing. Patterson tries to dangle by Janowski. Janowski comes up with the steal, sweeps it around near boards where it's stopped up by Poliuso. Poliuso played to the blue line. There it comes up for Cutbill. Cutbill will just backhand it slowly in behind the UCSB goal. Will be picked up there defensively by Piagai. Flops it out to center ice. And 2 periods are in the books. About as much decided through 40 minutes as was at the beginning of the game. We're all even. 5-5 between ice hockey at UCSB and the California Lutheran Knights. What a second semifinal in the California Collegiate Hockey League California Cup Championship Tournament. The winner earns a berth to the National Collegiate Hockey Association National Tournament. Chapman University awaits the winner of this game. We have a full intermission coming here before we find out who awaits the Panthers and Kyle Nicholas. Back and forth, up and down, everything you could ask for in today's second semifinal here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network.
I wish everybody out there listening to us right now could see what was happening. That should be possible next season according to our plans, but I wish everyone out there could see this game in person because, boy, this has been a real treat to watch in terms of college hockey at this particular level. Easily one of the best games we've seen all season. This tournament has been nothing short of absolutely fantastic from really every single game that's been played so far. I'm excited for this third period. A little bit nerve-wracking at the end there for the Gauchos as well, starting to cede some of the momentum. Nonetheless, they got a good...
However, would push it back to a 2-goal advantage in the final minute of the period. 1936 mark. Blake Stevens scores, assisted by Elliot Cutbill, and after one, it was 3-1 California Lutheran. Santa Barbara came out like a house of fire in the second period, scoring at the 2:06 mark on a goal by Dimitri Piagai. Piagai with the shot from the right point through traffic, eluded Yarosco, beating him to the short side blocker side, and made it a 1-goal game. The Gauchos tied it up at 7:35 on a goal by Jag Lawrence off a nice find from Zach Smith after Smith drove the zone and found Lawrence cutting down the seam in the middle, paying the price and stuffing home the game-tying goal. The Gauchos took the lead for the first time just less than a minute later. 56 seconds, 54. I was right the first time. Mental math, not my best suit, but it was a great look for Tyler Barone as he put the Gauchos ahead by a 4-3 score. And then with UCSB killing off a tripping minor on Keith Saito, which he had to take after Luke Ladarski very nearly pushed the puck by him and walked around him. the Gauchos got a shorthanded goal on a breakaway by Christian Ockpish that dribbled through the legs of Grant Urosco to make it 5-3. But CLU would get within one and then equalize in the final 8 minutes of the period as the captain, Joey Janowski, gets a pair of goals, the equalizer coming at 16:01 to put us where we stand after 2 periods of play with ice hockey at UCSB, 5 goals, the California Lutheran Knights, 5 goals. And Kyle Nicholas, with that in mind, what are your impressions about what we've seen through these first 2 periods? It seemed like at the beginning, California Lutheran was able to have their way for much of the first period, but as that second period went along, at times it seemed like the Gauchos had completely taken over.
It's kind of an interesting way that this game has gone in that, unlike really the last several meetings that these teams have played, the story of this game has not necessarily been the performances of the goaltenders on either ends. Both goaltenders have been solid enough, but both have also given up at least 1 goal that they probably are going to wish they had back. Nonetheless, the story of this game has been the disciplined systems between the 2 teams. You can see the just discipline and the absolute ruthless efficiency with which Cal Lutheran moves the puck in all 3 zones of the ice, and the Gauchos are sticking to them like glue, which they also do when they are playing at their absolute best. So the 2 teams playing to the peak of their respective styles so far has come to a complete and total wash, a draw at 5 goals apiece. Nonetheless, the Gauchos are probably going to go into the locker room and say, hey, we need to refocus defensively. We need to make sure we're not leaving guys alone. Joey Janowski on his 2 goals that essentially tied the game back up, far too much time with the puck and far too much ability to get the puck through the Gaucho defense and just rip shots past Amado Hernandez, more or less helpless to keep the puck out of the back of the net. Whereas on the other end, in the Cal Lutheran locker room, they're probably going to be saying almost exactly the same thing. Refocus defensively, continue to take away more pucks that move to the front of the net, and make sure that you're keeping your eye on your man to help essentially give their goalie Grant Urosco a break.
We'll talk a little bit more about this game, but you mentioned the way that Janowski scored the 2 goals at the end of the second period against the Gauchos. Very reminiscent of how Blake Aguilar at times was able to use time and space that the defense gave him and just let his superior skill do the talking. Let's shift our focus to the first semifinal, which you called earlier this afternoon on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. And the Chapman Panthers, who defeated the Ventura College Corsairs in overtime 8-7. They await the winner of this game to play for the California Cup in the CCHL Championship for the opportunity to go to NCHA Nationals. And we remind you, keep up with the latest results, schedules, and information about the National Collegiate Hockey Association on the web at ncha.us. The chase for the 2016 National Championship is on, so be sure to keep up with the latest news from the member leagues of the California Collegiate Hockey League, the College Hockey East, and Upstate New York Club Hockey League will be battling for the title. Visit ncha.us and follow the NCHA on Twitter at NCHA Ice Hockey. So the Chapman Panthers defeated the Ventura College Corsairs in our first semifinal 8-7, and Kyle, it's one of those games where if you're just in the stands looking at the 2 teams, looking at the 2 benches, you would assume that the Panthers, with their large manpower superiority, well, this should be a walk for them to get into the California Cup final. That was not the case. The Corsairs, as they've been from the second half of the season on, a game side.
They have been a team driven by their high-skill superstars. Blake Aguilar, once again, had a very big impact on that game, but the difference between the games that we have broadcast before with that team and the game that I called earlier was the defense for the Chapman Panthers stood strong on Aguilar. They kept up, they respected his skill, but also gave him no time to get away from them or to activate that speed and to dangle away from people. Aguilar nonetheless still had a hat trick in the game, scoring 3 goals, but 3 of the 7 is a far lower number than what you would normally expect to see from Aguilar in terms of pure goal percentage when talking about the offense of the Ventura College Corsairs. So nonetheless, a good, complete defensive team game from the Chapman Panthers. They are very well coached by ex-NHLer Kyle Calder, who has the team playing a system that more or less plays to its strengths. They are deep down offense. They are even deeper defensively. They've got a lot of talent in all of the positions, and nonetheless, maybe even the weakest point of their game is their goaltender, Norik, and even then he played a very solid game himself. So nonetheless, Chapman, the team awaiting, very, very tough opponent. Doesn't matter who's going to play there. That's going to be a great final tomorrow morning.
Give us a scouting report on Chapman. There are obviously players that CCHL fans are used to hearing about, the Heki Veerantas, the Brent Biederman, some of the more offensively inclined players for Chapman. But it seemed to me, and getting the opportunity to watch just the third period in overtime after getting over from working the UCSB Gauchos baseball doubleheader earlier this morning and afternoon, I should say, against the University of San Francisco. By the way, shout out to Andrew Checkett's crew for picking up the 2-game sweep in today's doubleheader over the Dons. Come from behind 6-5 win in game 1, and then an obliterating 13-5 win in game 2. What should listeners have their ears perked up for, and who should they pay particular attention to from this Chapman side in our championship game tomorrow, scheduled for 11 a.m.?
Well, Chapman is anchored offensively by 2 of the best offensive talents in the entire CCHL. 2 gentlemen by the name of Tyler Kring and Heki Veeranta. They made their stamp on the game. Kring even showing his versatility as a player, spending the majority of that game playing a defensive position as opposed to his natural forward. Veeranta also scoring a couple very, very beautiful goals. One of them falling down backwards, lifting a backhander over the Ventura College goaltender. Really a spectacular play. It was an absolute treat to watch. But nonetheless, even beyond those 2 players, they are deep offensively in their second line. Their second line, not necessarily the biggest guys, but nonetheless also 2 very, very good players. Very quick, very speedy, very good at controlling the puck. Very, very fun to watch.
I will say this. It impressed me on the part of the Ventura College Corsairs that they were able to have so much possession in that third period of play. It seemed at times as if they were almost dictating the play, and Chapman was just sitting back, waiting, and looking to respond. Now, with how deep the Panthers are, it affords them the opportunity to do that, but at the same time, kind of surprising that the way the Corsairs, it seemed in the final minutes and, through the bits of overtime, seemed to control the play against them. It didn't seem, though, that it ever seemed to bother the Panthers.
The Panthers just played their game. They knew they had the defensive superiority. An absolutely wonderful game from Connor Pierce back on the blue line. Defensive partner Brett Biederman, also a big, very physical defenseman who's excellent at moving the puck. Very much
semi-final. 5-5 between ice hockey at UCSB and CLU. Back underway. The Knights win the draw and shoot it into the leftmost attack end. UCSB skating left to right here in period number 3. First line's out for both teams as Jag Lawrence will play it off the near boards. Chase given and whistle blown as Wood Dowdy with Janowski bearing down from behind. The hybrid icing is whistled and a quizzical look from Wood Dowdy.
Benefit of the doubt on that one definitely given to the defender. Wood Dowdy had an angle on that puck and he would have gotten to that first.
So a face-off in the Gaucho defensive zone to the left of Amado Hernandez. Ledarski to take the draw, opposed by Okpish, and Christian wins it. Played to the line but held in by Votipka at the right point. On the second try, the Gauchos get it out along the near side boards. Backhand pass for Lawrence, who carries in up the middle. Tried to get it back for Okpish. drops his stick as it's swept away from him by Votipka, goes the length of the sheet. Chase given, and another kind of dodgy icing call here, is this time it's Mike Smith getting the benefit of the doubt against the hard-charging Luke Ledarski.
Well, at least the officials are consistent on that one. One sketchy one either way here early on. All even, no harm, no foul.
So Akpish to oppose Ledarski. The circle to the left of Grant Urosco. They tie up, and it's the Knights who control. Tardif playing forward for Janowski. Janowski's a defenseman, but he definitely ranges like a forward, a rover, if you will. Plays it in behind as Hayden Smith pressures, but can't get the puck away from Vieira. Played it out to neutral ice, where Akpish gives for Wood Dowdy along the near boards. Wood Dowdy plays it in behind the net, where Lawrence comes up with it in the corner. Feed for the slot, can't connect with Barone. UCSB in the midst of a shift change as Barone centers in front. Votipka will just slap it back out, where Piagai picks it up in the neutral zone. Gets the feed for Saito, who shoots it in behind. Dalen will stop it along the far side wall at the hash marks. Heaps a high one out to neutral ice. Piagai lost it. Tardif got it away from him, but he's on the end of his shift. Just will backhand it into the zone. Played along the near boards, doesn't get out, but on the second try, able to be pushed forward and out by Saito, but then angled back in by Stevens. So Piagai chases it down in the right corner, plays it along the boards. Goldser turns it over for Cutbill. Cutbill walks in front. Shot save made by Hernandez. Down in the butterfly, rebounded the corner, picked up by Hall. Piagai pins him to the boards. Saito comes over to help, and now it's played forward for the Gauchos. Looking to work it ahead for Goldser, unable to link up with him with Zach Smith, and it's intercepted by Elliot Cutbill. Plays for Hobro, who carries in up the left wing. His shot skips wide along the ice to the glove side and bounces back out to neutral ice. CLU offsides. They tag up as Hobro gets the puck along the near sideboard, slaps it across to the right corner. Angled in by Jeffrey Roberts behind the net. Giveaway by Amato Hernandez. Guzman very nearly stuffed it near post, but a good job by the defense to knock it away. Cleared the line, not out. Hobro's shot deflected, goes to the left corner. Piagai angles it out up the boards. Dalen picks it up at his own blue line. Tried to feed forward for Guzman. It's chipped up to the line, but not out. And with Saito pressuring, Norick chips it into the Gaucho bench. 17-12 to go third period.
And a very sluggish start for the Gauchos here early on. No possession time in the end for the Knights. Knights with the puck the entire time. I think the only time the puck came down to this side of the red line was on the icing call against Wood Dowdy.
Ledarski and Poliuso on the draw. Mitchell wins it. Puck played forward to him, can't link up with it. Almost stole it from Votipka. He did, and then on the shoot-in by Rand, Votipka blocks and will take it across his own defensive zone. UCSB is offside. They finally all tag up as Ledarski bounces one up the middle through Tardif. Gives a shot. Ledarski, glove save, Hernandez. Rebound, he scores! Hernandez had trouble with the initial shot. It came out of his glove, and Ledarski on the rebound rips it home to give the Knights a 6-5 lead.
And that's a goal the Gauchos did not want to give up, but the lazy demeanor to start the third period winds up burning them. It's a tough shot for Hernandez to handle initially, but no one is there to pick up the rebound, and sure enough, it winds up in the back of the net. The Gauchos once again find themselves back behind and have to climb uphill to get back in with this one. They have a lot less time to do so, though.
9th of the season for Ledarski, and it's 6-5, 16:35 to go in the third. Rand shoots in from the red line. It's blocked by Votipka. He gave for Janowski, who carries through the neutral zone. Janowski hit up by Smith along the right boards, forces the dump in. Be played around for Rand. Can't get a touch on it. Votipka regathers along the near boards at the red line for Cutbill. Cutbill, shoot-in attempt blocked, and now Rand will get it deep. Goes in behind Urosco. Patterson on the forecheck, so it's turned for Votipka. Near boards for Cutbill. Cutbill very nearly gave it away to Wood Dowdy, but gets it back and will skate it out of his defensive zone, feeding ahead for Stevens, who carries in up the left wing. Stevens tries to shoot it on. It's blocked and played forward. Gauchos touch it up as Patterson squirts it forward. Wood Dowdy giving chase. Hacked away from him, but Patterson comes up with a steal. feed to the top of the slot. Akpish just couldn't pull the trigger. As it skitters to the right corner, Stevens rims it around where Norick will pick it up, and he'll go against the flow behind the net, up the near side boards, and backhands it out to center. Boy, the puck is hopping and knuckling all over the place here on this third period sheet that was not able to be completely resurfaced. Now shot in from the neutral zone by Vieira, but the Gauchos were offside. And it's going to be ruled an intentional offside on ice hockey at UCSB. So face-off coming to the left of Amado Hernandez with 15-18 to go in the third period as CLU leads it 6-5. Norick and Akpish on the draw. Norick wins it, but the Gauchos come up with it. Wood Dowdy into the attack zone up the left wing. Centers in front. Lawrence couldn't get a stick to it.
Just a little bit too late on the pass.
Hobro gets it out of the zone up the near boards. Roberts forward for Guzman. Guzman stood up at the line. Will just backhand it in. And Piagai plays it forward. Just couldn't link up with Akpish, and Urosco dives out on top of his crease to make sure that there was no opportunity for Akpish on the knuckling ball puck.
Smart goaltending. Less than 15 minutes left to play, up by a goal. Take no risks. Take that face-off. Rely on your defense to get you out of the jam.
Face-off in the far dot. Barone out there against Norick. Zach Smith, Justin Goldser is forwards. Barone wins the draw. Smith backs the line. Saito will shoot it into the corner. Center to the slot. Puck hops the stick of Zach Smith, and Jeffrey Roberts comes up with it. Roberts, backhand to the zone, sandwiched along the boards in doing so. The forward stretch pass for Barone, intercepted by Janowski, plays for Guzman, who stood up at the red line by Saito. Puck behind him, though. Norick comes up with it along the far boards and tries a centering feed to the slot. Gets it deflected back to him. Backhander short side, save made by Hernandez. And the whistle goes as the official must have lost sight of the puck there. Amado again taking one up in near the collarbone, this time to the glove side, but makes the save.
That's several times so far this game. The official seems to have lost sight quickly. They're a little bit quick on the whistle. That puck was loose. The Gauchos may have had a chance to turn that one up the ice, so maybe a little unfortunate there.
Ledarski wins the draw. Janowski will get it deep to the right corner. Smith gives chase, but Mike Smith for the Gauchos plays it to the line, not out. Votipka held it in. Mike Smith comes up with a puck. He'll bounce it out, the cross across the blue line, intercepted. Shot, stick save made by Amado Hernandez on Tyler Tardif. Tardif tried to center to the slot, deflected away by Mike Smith, looking to hit Ledarski, but Smith enables the Gauchos to play along the boards. Now a potential 2-on-1 here. Patterson tries to make the pass across, broken up by Votipka. He tried a stuff play at the near post. Urosco made the save. Puck in the left corner. Votipka sends it around the boards. Patterson will pick it up from the near side. Centers in front. Unable to pull the trigger is Rand. Goes back to the line. The shot by Mike Smith doesn't get through traffic. His second try doesn't. But then a wrist shot taken by Pauliuso from the hash on the far side circle, stopped and held by Urosco.
And you mentioned the bouncing puck on this untreated third period sheet of ice. Definitely having an influence in the player's ability to keep control and possession of the disc. Proving to be a lot more difficult, a lot of crazy bounces either way. This could prove good for the Gauchos as maybe they get a lucky bounce. Puck winds up in the back of the net.
Stevens wins the defensive zone draw for the Knights and carries across the red line, gives it for Cutbill along the near side boards. He shoots it in behind Hernandez. Back behind the net, Mike Smith tried to gather, gave it away. Stevens comes up with the steal, working along the near side board. Stevens tries to turn it to the slot. It's intercepted by Akpish. Akpish, pass ahead, knocked down by Wood Dowdy. Wood Dowdy in up the right wing. Wood Dowdy curling behind the net. Centers it in front, deflects behind the net. Lawrence comes up with it. Lawrence feeds it back to the line. Shot through traffic, blocked in front. Comes for Lawrence, pad save made by Urosco. Stevens plays it along the near side boards for Cutbill, and Cutbill will backhand it out to the Gaucho blue line where it's picked up by Piagai. Piagai shoots it into the right corner. It curls around to the left. UCSB punches it deeper, but it comes for Hobro, who will take it off the right side of the net, but give it away to Wood Dowdy in the high slot. Wood Dowdy tried a backhand pass. Hobro steals, carries in. Hobro, shot over top of the net. Rebound to the right corner. Stevens will slap it for Hobro. Hobro returns for Stevens. His shot hits the post, pops in the air. Rebound, puck in front of Hernandez, and the Gauchos finally able to sweep it out. Now a race for the puck as Guzman under fire from the hard forechecking Barone, able to get it for Dalen. Dalen carrying to the far wall, crosses the red line, now the blue line of the attack zone. Feed for Roberts. Roberts shoots, pad save, rebound, hops the stick of Guzman. Gauchos able to clear, perhaps a chance with numbers. Carrying into the zone and stopping up, cutting across the high slot. Poliuso shoots, save made, Urosco. Rebound is held.
Up and down, back and forth we go. Gauchos trading chances right now for an opportunity to tie this game. Crazy bounces going either direction. There is really no way of telling which way this game is going to go next. Gauchos still trail by a goal, 11:41 remaining.
Barone and Ledarski. Barone won the draw, but Votipka comes up with it. Votipka going behind the net, clears along the dasher, and this one will get out to the red line where it's picked up by Saito. Feeds for the carry in by Smith. Smith angled off it by Votipka. Janowski gave it up. Smith tried to center, but Votipka intercepts. Votipka, fast forward for Tardif. He'll just kick it into the Gaucho zone from the red line. Saito back. Pass goes off a Knight shin pad and dribbles all the way into their own end in the right corner. Barone in on Janowski. Janowski will curl away from the contact up the boards, but turns it over to Patterson. Patterson coming to the front. He tries to pick it short side, but fires it over the top into the netting. Face-off looks like it'll be ruled out of play.
Rule this one off the blocker of Urosco and out of play.
So a nice stop by the junior goalie for CLU. Now it looks like perhaps the official having words with his linesman, and now
it's coming outside.
Take that save away from Urosco, but he did a good job holding his ground at the near post, not giving up a cheapy short side. Face-off won by the Gauchos, back for Vieira. Switches for Mike Smith at the far boards. Shoots a high one in that's shouldered to the slot by Urosco. Rebound to the far boards where Rand for Poliuso. Poliuso and a whistle and a penalty coming here against Cal Lutheran. A holding penalty. And it looks like the guilty party is Hayden Smith. And with 10:42 to go in the third period, trailing 6-5, Gauchos to the power play.
And an unbelievable opportunity here for the Gauchos after that sluggish start. They have turned the momentum around a little bit. Now with an opportunity to really put their foot back on the gas pedal, maybe even get that game-tying goal.
Akpish, Wood Dowdy, and Lawrence are the forwards. Ledarski won the draw, but stepping up to steal the puck. Lawrence, he has it along the far side board. Switches to the right point for Vieira. Vieira angles it along the boards for Wood Dowdy. Tries to get it deeper. He finds Akpish. Akpish tries to curl it out in front. Dalen angles him in front, and Urosco loses his footing, falls down, but able to find the puck, dropping his stick and grabbing it with his blocker, a la Dominic Hasek, to do so.
Didn't quite lose the helmet for the full Jaguar effect on that one. I know that's a save that some Red Wings fans will probably cringe at my mentioning, but nonetheless, still a good, smart goaltending play. Just reaches back, finds the puck, holds to the faceoff.
Akpish shot off the draw, save made Urosco, lost it for a moment, but then covers up. 1:36 to go on the Gaucho power play. Another faceoff coming in the near side faceoff dot for the Gauchos on the power play. Akpish against Ledarski, and Christian wins it for Wood Dowdy along the boards. Couldn't control, and it'll be shot out and down the ice by Cutbill. Hernandez tees it up behind the net for Smith. Smith carrying up the near boards, crossing the red line. He stood up at the blue line by Cutbill, loses the puck, and Ledarski backhands it down the ice. Hernandez comes out of his net to give it up for Lawrence. Lawrence cedes possession to Wood Dowdy. Wood Dowdy carries in up the right wing. Wood Dowdy tries to center it, deflects off of a Knight leg. Lawrence plays it behind the net. Wood Dowdy centers in front. Akpish settles it, shoots it just wide. Rebound Wood Dowdy for Lawrence. He couldn't get connection with it. Vieira activates, but it's chipped past him by Hobro. Hobro, potential breakaway. Smith back, forces him to drag wide. Shot save made by Hernandez. Rebound, Amato dives out and will freeze it with 39 seconds to go on the Gaucho power play. 9:21 to go in the third period, and anxious moments with Max Hobro creating a chance for himself shorthanded.
And an eerily similar looking play to the same play that the Gauchos scored on shorthanded earlier in the game. Fortunately, Hernandez keeps this one out as the rebound got shoved 5-hole.
Stevens wins the offensive zone draw shorthanded, feeded to the slot. Tardif couldn't turn around to pull the shot off, then gets it behind the net. Throws it into the slot. Hernandez is down. Janowski activated, but had it knocked away from him, and now the Gauchos carry back. Shot into the zone to the right corner. Goldser giving chase, but Janowski behind the net, twists away from Barone, and he will shoot it back in behind Hernandez. 10 seconds to go in the Gaucho power play. CLU still leading it by 1, 6-5 on the goal, 3:15 into the period by Luke Ledarski. Teams are back at even strength as Janowski shoots it in, and a whistle, and the official will stop play here.
I think we're getting to too many men on the ice penalty.
This would be a massive moment for UCSB if that's in fact the case. No, I don't think it's too many men. I think the officials are just going to say we'll have the face-off in the CLU end.
That's an odd call considering looked like the sixth man for the Knights jumped over the boards just a hair too early.
Barone won the draw, but CLU wins possession. Played out to the red line where the Gauchos recontrol it. Rand gives for Piagai. Piagai gets it chopped into the zone by Barone, but Janowski stretches it down the ice for Tardif. Back though is Saito, and he will get the icing whistle. 8:15 to go in the third period. You can sense all the locos in blue and gold just keep looking over at that clock, hoping that the more they watch it means the slower the seconds tick off.
It's funny how that only seems to work when you're either at work or in class, right?
Poliuso stalemated on the draw by Ledarski. Ledarski, though, has it stick checked away from him by Patterson. Patterson pinned along the boards by Janowski. Poliuso, though, comes up with it. Poliuso along the boards. Puck battle won by Janowski. Pass forward through Tardif. Piagai sweeps it to the far boards for Saito. He tried to shoot it in, deflected off a Knight out of play. Both of these teams have had 2-goal leads in this game. Both of these teams have come back from 2-goal deficits. We were 5-5 after 2. Face-off coming from the middle of the rink. Poliuso wins it and is able to backhand it into the zone. Hobro under fire from Patterson. Cam comes up with the steal, but 2 men on him along the boards, and the official has the arm up, and Andrew Dalen as well as Blake Hall both with a look of
we're getting a high stick.
And
from the looks of it, it's on Dalen.
Dalen shaking his head as he skates to the penalty box. 7:44 to go in the third period. Gauchos with their second power play of this period of yet have been unable to convert with the extra man in this game. They do, however, have a shorty.
And they have the line they want out on the ice. They have Patterson out on with what looks to me like Trevor Rand. And I believe that is Mitch Poliuso taking the face-off. So the top power play unit out for the Gauchos, trying to get one on here and convert early.
Ledarski comes up with a steal and shoots at the length of the sheet. Hops off the stick of Hernandez. Back to pick it up is Mike Smith. Smith with Ledarski on him forces the curl back around the net for Vieira to skate up the far side boards. Gives back for Smith. Smith will carry to neutral ice, gains the red line, backhands it in behind the net. On the chase, Patterson picks the puck up. Patterson gives for Poliuso. Poliuso draws, drags, shoots. Save made by Yarosco. He tried to pick the top near corner, but a nice positional save by Yarosco. And he gets the face-off.
And a nice play from Poliuso to pick that puck up and spin off his forechecker as well to bring the puck right to the middle of the slot, improve his shooting angle. Unfortunately, a great positional save there from Yarosco.
Off the draw, set up a backhander for Patterson that Urosco kicks to the far boards. Patterson back to the line, and it hops the stick of Mike Smith. Gauchos have to get back on side. 1:10 to go in the power play as Patterson backhands it in, hits the official, comes right to Janowski, who very nearly lost it in front of the net. Plays along the near boards, though, and this one skips the length of the sheet. CLU able to change the penalty kill forwards. UCSB will go for a forward change as well as the feed off the bench, looking for Lawrence, intercepted by Janowski. Shoots it in deep. Stevens in for checking on Smith. Smith hesitates to let him go flying by. Will feed for Lawrence to carry through the neutral zone. Tried to dump it from the right wing. Votipka stood him up, gets it ahead for Stevens. Stevens, his man falls. Stevens shoots. Wide glove side. Oh, that would have been a huge 2-goal lead marker for CLU, but it stays off the board. Knights, though, controlling the puck in the neutral zone. Hobro with the long shot that Hernandez stops and will move with his glove for Saito. Just 14 seconds to go on the power play as the stretch pass unable to connect, and on the chase for the icing, Votipka a nose ahead of Wood Dowdy. 7 seconds to go on the power play, 5:51 to go, third period, still 6-5 Knights.
And that was a situation where detractors of the hybrid icing would be going absolutely ballistic, because while Votipka was slightly ahead at about the hash marks region, Wood Dowdy was going in with a lot more speed. He would have won a touch-up race to that puck and negated it.
Off the draw, Stevens tried to shoot. It was blocked, but the penalty is over to CLU. Knights back full strength as Lawrence carries out along the far board, stood up by Ledarski. Ledarski stole at the Gaucho blue line, now carries in his shot from a sharp angle save. Rebound. Shot is blocked by Piagai on the attempt by Stevens. Just flopped out into the CLU zone by UCSB. Hobro, forechecking pressure on him from Wood Dowdy, finds Ledarski. He'll angle it off the far boards where Saito picks back up at the UCSB blue line. Drops a back pass, nobody home. Piagai has to retreat to retrieve. Approaching 5 minutes remaining in the third period as Saito turns the puck over. Shot, score! Elliot Cutbill takes advantage of the gift. Maybe so much. With the snow on the sheet, Saito unable to snap the pass off, and Cutbill makes it a 7-5 CLU lead with 5 minutes on the dot to go in the third.
And now the Gauchos have to focus. They're going to have to take some risks at this point if they want to get back into this one. There is no time to mess around, and you got to give a lot of credit to Cal Lutheran for how much they have clogged the neutral zone. Absolutely no room for the Gauchos to carry through with speed. They're lucky if they can even get the red line in order to dump it in deep right now, and it's just puck recoveries like crazy. Unfortunately for the Gauchos, one turnover, and that's all the Knights need to capitalize and get one back.
16th of the season for Cutbill. And now Janowski feeds ahead for Ledarski. Just one hands it into the UCSB zone. And like you said, Kyle, the Knights content to make UCSB go the length of the sheet every time. Create a turnover in the neutral zone. Janowski for Votipka. Votipka backhands it at the red line. Intercepted at the blue by Smith. His pass off the back heel of Cam Patterson. Cutbill gave for Janowski, and now ahead Norick. Stood up at the Gaucho blue line, but UCSB trying to play forward. Janowski just angles it off the near boards. Justin Goldser with it along the near boards, feeds forward. Perhaps a chance for a 2-on-1. Barone stretched it a little bit too far for Zach Smith. Smith taken away from him by Stevens. Shoots it forward for Norick. Instead, the puck goes towards the Gaucho bench. Very nearly too many men, but the official says play on as Goldser gets it in deep along the near side boards. 3:45 to go, third period. Goldser plays it back to the line. Piagai activates to send it deeper. Patterson curling around the net. Forced into the far side boards by Dalen. Goldser comes to help. Goldser backhands it behind the net. Pauliuso chasing to the near side boards. Buries Hobro, but he got it to Stevens. Switches it across, playing to the far boards. It hops off of the stick of Goldser, and he has to play it back to his defenseman. Saito Very nearly stripped of the puck by Guzman, and now he is by Hobro. Hobro carries in left wing, centers, and just in front of Guzman. 3 minutes to go, third period, as the Gauchos play it up the far side boards. Back to retrieve Janowski. Janowski, forechecking pressure on him from Rand. Shot it along the near boards, it hit the official. Rand tries to play it forward. Janowski instead slaps it to the far side boards where it's picked up and now sent back to the near for Pauliuso. Nice step around on the first man, but Ledarski sealed him off. Pauliuso trying to curl towards the slot. It's chipped to the line. Piagai holds, backhands it into the left corner. 2:30 to go in the third period, 7-5 CLU. Lawrence, shot from a sharp angle, goes behind the net. Battle for the puck. Hobro plays it along the near boards. Akpish stopped it up, but Tardif touched it for Hobro, who now carries in. Hobro steps around. Piagai plays back to the line. Tardif winds, fires. Glove save by Amato Hernandez on a slapper that was screaming, headed for the glass with 2:12 to go in period 3. And it looks like UCSB is taking their time out, trailing 7-5 on CLU goals in this third period. First at the 3:15 mark by Luke Lodarski, and then a real killer at the 15-minute mark on a turnover. Elliot Cutbill gives the Knights their 2-goal lead.
And the Gauchos, this is crunch time. Everything they have built towards this season, all of the improvement they have made is all going to come down to the next 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Keep your eyes on Amato Hernandez. Pretty much the moment the Gauchos are able to gain possession in the Cal Lutheran, and if they are even able to do that, credit to Cal Lutheran for their ability to just slow everything down through the neutral zone. The moment the Gauchos can get possession in the offensive zone, Hernandez is going to be hauling over to the bench.
We hope you're enjoying this presentation of ice hockey at UCSB. The South Coast Inn is the 2015-2016 broadcast sponsor of ice hockey at UCSB, and the perfect place to stay by UCSB. Whether you're in town for a sporting event, homecoming, or graduation, you can depend on the South Coast Inn to make you feel right at home. 5620 Kyle and Goleta. Call 805-967-3200 for more information. Face-off in the near side face-off circle of the Gaucho defensive zone. It's one on Hernandez. He sticks it behind the net. Trying to be centered in front by Tardif, but the Gauchos swing it off the near side boards. Would Dowdy couldn't make the connection. His Cutbill now will play it forward for Tardif. Tardif slapper deflects off the stick of Vieira into the defensive zone, and Hernandez is going to the bench already. 1:49 to go in the first period. 6-man on for UCSB. Votipka plays along the near boards in his defensive zone. Gave it away to Akpish. Akpish. Backhander. Score! Cam Patterson standing along the goal line. Caught Urasco napping. Banks it in off his wallet, and it's a 1-goal game with 1:37 to go.
And it's very reminiscent of a goal that Patterson scored in the weekend series between these two teams 2 weekends ago. Once again, back behind the net, catches Urasco just off his post a little bit, and it's a quick backhand release right off the backside of Urasco's pants, and suddenly the Gauchos have life. 1:37 left to go, and they are only down 1.
5th of the season for Cam Patterson in his 4th appearance with the Gauchos. Akpish to oppose Ledarski on the ensuing faceoff. Ledarski just slaps it forward. Well, Vieira will play it for Wood Dowdy. Wood Dowdy shoots it in. There goes Hernandez. A whistle, and
they're going to call this icing?
The official on the near side,
I think they're going to
said,
call
"Let
this
it
a
go."
bench violation because Patterson jumped over the boards before Hernandez had made it all the way there.
So face-off again in the middle of the rink. 1:29. Again, it's slapped deep off the win by CLU. There goes Amato. UCSB controls. Played to the far boards for Mike Smith. Smith for Patterson. Patterson backhands it along the glass. It'll go behind the net where Hobro looks to pin it. Knocked free by Akpish for Patterson along the boards. Back to the line. Vieira shot through traffic. Bouncing puck. Waiting, shooting. Score! score! Christian Akpish has tied the game with 61 seconds to go. Through traffic, Vieira's shot just came for Akpish at the bottom of the far circle, and he rips it rooftop. 7-7.
And the Gauchos bench and the crowd and everyone in this building is going absolutely ballistic. We got a timeout being called from Cal Lutheran, but the Gauchos just hit that desperation time, and just like that, turn the switch. They find another gear, and it takes virtually no time at all for them to claw back from 2 goals down. What an effort. We are back to even 7-7, 1:01 left to play.
Christian Akpish has had a hand in both of the UCSB goals. The Gaucho goals come just 36 seconds apart. First, it's Akpish winning the battle along the near side boards to get the puck to Patterson for the bank shot goal at the near post off the tuchus of Urosco and in. And then, after Vieira's shot from the line pinballs in the slot, Akpish scores perhaps the biggest of his 9 goals this season to tie the game up. Check that, it's his 10th as he had the shorty earlier in this game. Are we destined for another overtime tied 7-7?
We've already had one so far this evening, and boy, that game was a heck of a lot of fun. Why not do it again, right?
Draw won by the Knights. Ledarski along the far side boards. Janowski tried to jump up. UCSB shoots it back out. Dalen sends it behind. Hernandez will tee it up behind the net. 45 seconds to go as Mike Smith passes along the far boards. And it's Lawrence backhanding it along. No icing as Dalen ruled to have a chance to make a play on it. Plays along the far side boards. Hops Lawrence's stick. And it is held in by Smith for a moment, but then sent out by Ledarski. Plays to the near corner. Stevens picks it up, goes behind the net with it, centered to the slot. Shot, save made by Hernandez. Rebound popped wide by Janowski.
Gauchos a little careless with the puck in their own end.
Less than 20 to go as the puck comes free, and now it's sent for Lawrence along the far side boards. Lawrence stops up at the blue line. Hip check taken out of the play by Dalen. A whistle, and is this about to be a penalty call?
It looks like it is.
Andrew Dalen whistled for tripping with 9.8 seconds to go in the third period.
The speed of Jag Lawrence coming through the neutral zone makes a quick cut right at the blue line. And all Dalen can do is to slow him down, is to stick that leg out, and he got most of the hip, but enough of the knee to the point where the referee saw fit to make the penalty call. 9.8 seconds left in regulation. If this period ends, the Gauchos will take that power play into overtime.
Ledarski, the big defensive zone win. Janowski just takes it to the end boards, trying to kill as much time as possible. Patterson, a turnaround slapper attempted from the dot. Goes out neutral ice, and we go to overtime. 7-7. CLU scores the first 2 goals of the third. The Gauchos get them back in the dying moments. Goals 36 seconds apart from Cam Patterson and from Christian Akpish. Akpish with 3 points in the game. Kyle, 1:51 of power play time for ice hockey at UCSB to start overtime, which will be a 4-on-3 power play.
4-on-3 power play transitioning over into overtime. It is the old NHL style, the 4-on-4 overtime. Some would argue the better style of overtime. I say emphasizing that as myself, but that's a conversation for another time. Nonetheless, an absolutely humongous moment for the Gauchos. 1 minute and 51 seconds with a chance to win the game.
Kyle, get out your coach's clipboard. What is ice hockey at UCSB looking to do with a 4-on-3 power play advantage? Plenty of open ice to get their skill players out there.
The biggest thing they need to keep an eye on is the play of number 9, Stevens. He will be looking for the short-handed breakaway pass. Dalen in the penalty box will be the one coming out should it get to the end as well. The Gauchos need to keep their eyes on their men, not let anyone escape. 3 very quick players on the ice to start. Wolodzki, Janowski, and Hobro, all very fast skaters.
Gauchos win the draw. Shot in by Piagai. He's out there with Barone as well as Patterson. Played to the line, it's held there. Saito for Barone, switch for Piagai. Slap shot, deflected, and a save made by Urasco. A slight tip put on that by Patterson, but the wicket slammed shut by Urasco.
And Patterson looks to the sky. He got a good contact on that one. Great save from Urasco to keep this game going.
Barone and Ledarski on the draw. Near side face-off circle. Ledarski wins it to Hobro. Hobro behind the net. Battle for it. And Patterson had it for a moment, now does. Curls it around, backhander, he scores! He scores! Cam Patterson, the pocket pick, the backhand shorthand, and the Gauchos will play for the 2016 California Cup.
Almost the exact same spot he scored the goal to start the 2-goal comeback, banking it once again off the backside of Urasco and in. Unbelievable. The Gauchos win 4 of the 5 meetings against the league-leading California Lutheran Knights. This one the hardest of all of them, bar none. And once again, the magic of this first season continues with a beautiful shot from Cam Patterson. What an incredible game.
8-7, your final score as the power play goal by Cam Patterson sends ice hockey at UCSB to the 2016 California Cup Championship, the final of the California Collegiate Hockey League, and the chance to get the Southwestern Conference berth to the National Collegiate Hockey Association National Tournament, scheduled for an 11 a.m. puck drop tomorrow here at Ice in Paradise in Goleta. Kyle Nicholas. At a time like this, we as broadcasters are supposed to be able to describe the emotion of this and the looks on the faces of the blue uniformed Gauchos as they salute their fans at center ice.
Pontus Johnson in his street clothes just pumping his fists up and down. You can imagine just how extremely disappointed he was that he was not able to play in this game. But boy, he looks just as happy as any of the other guys that are out there. His boys are moving on. The Gauchos, the hosts of this tournament, are going to be playing for that cup tomorrow. And Eric, we get our rematch. We get the Gauchos facing the Chapman Panthers once again.
And each time that ice hockey at UCSB has played Chapman, it has been a 1-goal game. The first game ever in NCHA play played on the sheet at Ice in Paradise was the Gauchos against the Panthers. Chapman won 7-6 in overtime. The teams played down at the KHS Ice Arena in Orange County. A 7-6 win by Chapman.
A late goal cost the Gauchos in that one too.
For the Gauchos, that all season long has been about turning around the results from the first time they play teams. They have the opportunity to complete the ultimate turnaround and earn a berth to the NCHA National Tournament. What a story, what a season for this student organization, ice hockey at UCSB. Let's run down the final scoring in the third period. California Lutheran was able to jump to a 2-goal lead. First scoring at the 3:15 mark was Luke Ledarski, and then what perhaps looked like could have been a dagger, a turnover committed by Keith Saito on the snowy ice sheet that came to Elliot Cutbill. Cutbill snapping it and making it a 7-5 game. It looked like ice hockey at UCSB dead to rights, but the flutter of the heartbeat at the 18:23 mark as a great play made along the near side boards by Christian Ockpish, getting the puck free with the extra man on, finding Cam Patterson and him backhanding it from along the goal line, banking it off the hip of Grant Urasco and in, and then just a matter of 36 seconds later, Christian Ockpish gets the rebound of a pinballing shot at the bottom of the far circle and roofs it to tie it. Perhaps, though, Kyle, the biggest moment in the game with the Gauchos pressuring on the forecheck. Cam Patterson tripped up near the blue line.
It was
by
Jag
Andrew
Lawrence that was tripped up.
Jag Lawrence, my apologies. Lawrence pressuring on the forecheck. Dalen laying a hip hit on him. The leg ends up taking out Lawrence's legs. It's a call that if you are a fan of the Forum Blue and Gold, you're wondering, why does the official not swallow the whistle there? If you're a Gaucho fan, you say, thank you, sir. Let's take advantage of this opportunity. And that they did. Just 29 seconds in, Cam Patterson winning a puck battle behind the net, curling out the near side and backhanding it home. Patterson's second goal of the game, his third point. And the Gauchos go to the championship game with an 8-7 overtime victory over CLU.
That's just a beautiful sound to hear coming through my earphones right now. Hoping those at home, at least in terms of the Gaucho fans, will be in agreement. I am already excited for the face-off at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. One game to call before that, though. We will see the Cal Lutheran Knights yet again tomorrow morning. The 9 a.m. game for third place, which may still prove to be a pivotal game. Third place may still wind up getting an at-large bid to the national championship tournament as well. And considering the Cal Lutheran Knights have led this league from more or less start to finish, finishing with that third overall, that third place finish is really only going to boost their resume when it comes to the selection committee. It's going to look a heck of a lot better than finishing fourth.
And the Ventura College Corsairs, the team that awaits to oppose them. What a matchup this is going to be. You can call it the Battle of the Isoplex, if you will. Both of the teams play out of the Simi Valley facility, and they've been close when they've played them. The Knights winning 7-6. The last time the two teams met, it was the Corsairs with a 7-4 victory. Ventura scoring 3 times in the third period to come away with the victory. That is going to be fun, and it's going to be a pleasure to bring the third place game for you. 9 a.m. scheduled puck drop between the California Lutheran Knights and the Ventura College Corsairs here on the Ice Hockey at UCSB Broadcast Network. But the main event, the championship game, the third matchup of the season between Ice Hockey at UCSB and Chapman, scheduled for an 11 a.m. puck drop. Kyle, I don't think you could ask for much more. Let's get to our final analysis of this game and our 3 stars. Start us, if you will, your third star tonight for the Gauchos and the Knights.
This is such a difficult selection. So many Gauchos stood up and just played spectacular games. My third star is going to go to Jag Lawrence in this game. Lawrence up and down the ice, all over the place with lots of speed, scored a humongous goal in the second period to really turn the momentum in the favor of the Gauchos as well. Good, solid effort, one of the best we've seen from him all season long. Jag Lawrence is my third star.
When you look at this game and you look at the way that UCSB was able to bounce back, that the Gauchos were able to get things going, I'm going to go a little bit off the reservation here, much as you have in the past, and I'm going to give the third star to Dimitri Piagai. Piagai, a defenseman who has been relied upon to play big minutes for this team, and with Pontus Johnson unable to suit up in the game, the pairing of him and Keith Saito saw the Lions' share of the time tonight against the Knights, and they came up with big play after big play after big play. And I don't think that you can understate how important his goal at the 2:06 mark of the second period to make it a 1-goal game, at the time 3-2, was in changing the momentum of this game. Remember, CLU had pretty well controlled the game through the first period. Piagai's goal instrumental in changing the feel of the game and helping UCSB rush out in front. I have Piagai as my third star of the game. My second star, I go with Christian Ockpish. And I do so because Ockpish, skating on that top line with Jag Lawrence and with Alex Wood Dowdy, he scores the tremendous shorthanded goal that at the time gave the Gauchos a 4-3 lead. He scores the game-tying goal. And when the Gauchos needed a critical face-off win down the stretch, who was out there to take it but number 4 in the blue and yellow?
My second star, I actually have a tie, and I feel like I can justify this because they're not from the same team.
Okay.
My second star on the Gaucho side is going to go to the hero of the late-game heroics, Cam Patterson. 2 humongous goals, both very similar in nature, just a clever little quick backhand release from down low, banking it off the back of the goaltender and in. He's been a great late-season addition for the Gauchos, coming up huge with another 2-goal performance against Cal Lutheran, much like that season, or like the weekend series we saw him in a couple weekends ago.
All he does is score against CLU.
And all Amado Hernandez does is win against CLU. So apparently it's a working formula for the Gauchos. But on the Cal Lutheran side of this, we would be remiss if we did not tip our hat to Captain Joey Janowski's performance, giving the Gauchos hell all night long in terms of what he could handle, what kind of skill and speed he threw at them. It was the 2 goals he scored late in the second period that completely changed the momentum and really made the outlook look very bleak for the Gauchos going in through the third. That back-breaking goal from Votipka made it look even worse that the Gauchos were able to give those 2 up, were it not from the heroics of his second-star counterpart, Patterson. The Gauchos necessarily wouldn't be celebrating this win here this evening.
And as we're talking about California Lutheran players that deserve acknowledgement as well, Luke Ledarski all season long has been one of those gritty players that wins face-offs, that gets the puck deep. He was rewarded with a big-time goal tonight, scoring what put CLU in front 6-5, 3:15 into the third period. He has been a feature player for them nearly every time that ice hockey at UCSB and the Knights have gotten together on the ice. He hasn't showed up on the score sheet, but he's been that sort of heart and soul type player that you need to compete for titles. And Ledarski certainly stood out in my eyes as well when you talk about the performance of CLU. All right, Kyle, who is it? Who's your first star?
My first star goes to who your second star is. Christian Okpish is my player of the game for the Gauchos. That short-handed goal that completely changed the momentum of the game for the moment, I should say, because it completely swung back and forth again about another 4 times before the game ended. But nonetheless, his effort this evening was just one that really no one on the Gauchos roster could match. He was big on all 3 zones of the ice, making key plays, key stops defensively, winning huge face-offs, and coming up with huge offensive plays. A 3-point night for Okpish as well. An absolutely massive performance.
My first star, I got to go with Cam Patterson. Does it get much better than scoring the semifinal winning goal in overtime? Well, it can. We won't talk about how that's the case, but a 3-point night for Patterson. You know, talking about this ice hockey at UCSB team, speaking with Captain Alex Wood-Dowdy before the game, there was a little bit of consternation about whether or not Patterson and Mitchell Poliuso could gel on a line together because their play style and skill set very similar. They're possession-dominant players. They like to have the puck on their stick and make things happen that way. I think you see Patterson and how well he's fit into this team bear out by him setting up Poliuso for the first UCSB goal in the first period at the 7:58 mark. Just a great job of finding Poliuso alone in front for the snapshot goal to the top corner.
Oh, what a pass that was, too.
And the game-winning goal, we've seen Patterson as a skill player. We've seen him as somebody who can dangle, who can spin you away from him, who can snap a shot when he's all alone. But that was all heart and hustle on his part, winning a battle behind the net, curling it out around the side, and putting the puck home short side past Urosco to give the 8-7 victory to the Gauchos and send them to the CCHL championship. Special stuff, Kyle. Special stuff. Looking forward to continuing coverage tomorrow, beginning with the third place game between CLU and Ventura College at 9 a.m. Championship game scheduled for 11 as ice hockey at UCSB takes on Chapman University.
Looking forward to that call tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. We'll be here for the 9 a.m. game as well, a matchup between Ventura College and the California Lutheran Knights to see who gets that critical third seed and possibly an at-large bid to the national championship.
It's going to be a lot of fun to bring it to you from Ice in Paradise. Once again, your final score in overtime. The first semifinal went 8-7 to the Chapman University Panthers. The second semifinal, 8-7 to ice hockey at UCSB. The Gauchos, in their first season in their new home rink, are looking to christen it with a championship. We'll see if they can do so tomorrow. For my color commentator, Kyle Nicholas, my name is Eric Evelhawk.